Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe.
Hi, Jenny. I want to congratulate Shannon Sharpe. Oh, he bought himself a diet.
No. Don't worry about me, Skip. Go ahead. Keep on talking. Keep on talking.
You know what, Jenny? He finally won a case of Diet Dew back from me. I think I'm now 33 up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to congratulate Shannon Sharpe today because he had the guts to go way out on the limb and pick a 2 seed over a 7 seed. Jenny, do you know how many times 2 seeds have beaten 7 seeds in history of the NBA? 93% of the time, 2 seeds have beaten 7 seeds, and he is celebrating because he was the one who picked the 2 over the 7. I actually had the courage to stick with my team, the Spurs, who hung in there, and it did get to be a 2-point game with 50 seconds left, so at least they showed pretty well for themselves.
Do you mind if I enjoy my nectar of the gods out of my nice cup?
Can we talk about the cup? It's
Breakfast
a little much.
of Champions.
Oh, it's the breakfast of the champions?
Yeah.
Nectar of the gods?
You know what? Now you got a chance today because you got what is the equivalent of Popeye's spinach.
Woo. Nice little cup. Skip, you like my cup?
Not really.
You don't like it?
It's a little much.
Yeah, it's a little much, but everything you wear is a little much.
It's too much.
It's okay.
So you said my cup. Okay, I'm sorry, Skip. You know what? I'm going to sit this
You know what? I never drink Diet Dew out of the can. It just doesn't do it.
This ain't out no can. This out of...
Oh! You just slurped it all over your nose.
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I feel
Are you
good.
ready?
How you doing, Skip?
Are you proud of yourself for picking a 2 seed? Way to go.
Can we get on with the show?
Jenny, did you know that it's 5 times in 72 attempts that the 2 seed is the 7 is beating the 2?
Skip, I didn't say anything about that. I'm saying I was just having Dew.
I want to congratulate the Denver Nuggets. Jokic was by far the best player on the floor, and Jamal Murray, I don't care for him, but he made one big shot. Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. Moving on to today's show is Cam Newton on the hot seat in Carolina. And should the Browns be guaranteeing a trip to the Super Bowl? That's interesting. We are going to start with some NBA controversy. Let's get right to the closing seconds of the Rockets-Warriors yesterday. James Harden had a chance to tie it with a 3, but missed as Draymond Green contested the shot. Then Chris Paul went after one of the officials and was ejected. Rockets were livid that no foul was called on the Harden shot, saying he wasn't able to land safely, which was a theme of the entire game. The Warriors got the win, and afterwards Harden had a message for the refs. Take a listen.
I just want a fair chance, man. Call the game how it's supposed to be called, and that's it. And I'll live with the results. But especially we all know what happened, a few years back with Kawhi, like that can change the entire series. Just call the game how it's supposed to be called, and we'll live with the results. And it's plain and simple.
James Harden after the game said he just wants a fair chance that the refs need to call the game the way it's supposed to be called. He just wants a fair chance. The refs need to call the game the way it's supposed to be called. He's specifically talking about closing out on three-pointers, feeling like he got fouled several times in those situations.
I've been fouled by James on a James three-pointer before. I ain't trying to hear that. Nah, I ain't going with that one. I'm straight.
Okay, Shannon, did the non-calls cost Houston the game?
No, it wasn't did it cost them? I think it was a contributing factor. I think the biggest cause for them not to win this ball game, Skip, is that they had 2 starters score a grand total of 4 points. And that was P.J. Tucker and Clint Capella. Now, you remember the other day, Skip, Clint Capella said, I wanted the Warriors.
Yep.
Now, Chris Paul was sitting up there with him, and he was looking at him like, are you crazy?
He said that.
See, all this, I don't know who started this. In order to be the man, you need to beat the man. Well, if I can beat the lesser of the man and still accomplish my goal, I'm good with that, Skip. I really am. Look, it's really, really hard to officiate James Harden and Chris Paul, Skip, because when they shoot the 3 ball, they flail so much. How much is it them flailing? How much is it someone is getting contact? Now, there are a couple of times that James Harden shot the 3-point shot and Klay Thompson bodied him. Now, we saw this in the NCAA tournament. Virginia guy shot a 3, Skip, and the guy bodied him. They called it. They didn't call these yesterday. My problem with NBA officials, NFL officials, is that, they let calls like this go in the postseason. No, don't do that. If it's a foul in the regular season, it's a foul in the postseason. James Harden in the first half, he got fouled on numerous occasions on three-point shots. Chris Paul got fouled by Kevin Durant. He made it, but Kevin Durant fouled him. It should have been a 4-point play. So, Skip, if I was going to say a percentage of this, I would say 85% of these calls, these non-calls, contributed. But even with that, they still had an opportunity right there in the ball game. Kevin Durant goes off. Kevin Durant has been spectacular. And still, James Harden had an opportunity to tie the ball game with a three-point shot. But Skip, these are fouls. And I don't want this last 2-minute report. I don't want the NBA to come back and tell me those should have been called fouls. The officials know. You're in that moment. You're sitting there. You're looking at the guy. You're looking at Clay not give James Harden landing space. You're looking at him bodying him up on the shot on the way down. So you need to make those calls. But I believe Clint Capella and P.J. Tucker scoring 4 points between the two of those because Capella was minus 17. Minus 17. That's not good enough.
No. So, to your Clint Capella point, they said last week, just a week ago, he had not one but 2 viruses. I've never heard of anybody having 2 viruses at once, but that's what they said. And whatever the reason, he was completely out of it. He couldn't catch it. He couldn't hold rebounds. He was lost yesterday. He's been a dominating post player all year long on the pick and roll with James Harden. He was lost yesterday, and it contributed to losing the game. But now to the bottom line. If the refs had called this game the way they ref James Harden all season long, Houston wins easily because Mike D'Antoni estimated the non-calls cost them 20 free throws. That's what he said after the game, 20. I'll go 18 because I saw 6 non-calls that I would have given to James Harden 5 times and to CP3 1 time.
Right.
And that time 6.
A couple of times he made it. Should have been 4-point plays.
So that's. You could argue that, but if you don't take those away, it's like 18 more free throws, whatever. It was a 4-point game. And remember, we're talking about James Harden and Chris Paul are extraordinarily effective.
Savvy.
They're savvy, but they're also really good free throw shooters, both of them. So let's say they got 18 more free throws. Would they make 16 of them? They probably would. So it's a 4-point game. So let's get to the last one, which was the most debatable, and it was the most crucial. And Joe Borgia of the NBA, the head of replay and referees, said that was, in fact, called correctly, that Draymond, he said, moved sideways into James Harden's space, and that James Harden, to quote him, jackknifed with his feet, throwing his feet up forward, trying to draw the foul. But I got to say, even though Draymond was going sideways, he leaped right into his landing space. I'm sorry, that is a flat-out foul. Anytime, any place in the regular season, that would have gotten called. So James Harden deserved to shoot 3 free throws to tie the game with 4 seconds left. Now, could he have made all 3? I don't know. Do you trust James in that spot to make all 3? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. He just deserved.
I would love him been given that opportunity.
Yes. So clearly, the game plan going in was to rough up James Harden, to get physical with him, to knock him off his spots, to body him. And it seemed like the new strategy was turn sideways into him. As you leap in, turn your back to him. That's what Clay and Draymond did, where they're leaping in, but they're turning in midair to face the basket, hoping not to hand foul him, but to get away with body fouling him, right? And I thought they repeatedly got away with body fouls.
I do too.
And I also think they did jar him. They did rough him up psychologically because James wasn't great yesterday. He was 9 of 28 and 4 of 16 from 3. Again, a bunch of them should have been called, but I thought they literally knocked him out of his comfort zone. And the reason this was such a big deal was this was an enormous wasted opportunity for the Houston Rockets. You're never going to get that team more vulnerable because the Clippers beat them twice in their building. Am I right?
Yes.
And as we know, 6 times in that building, they lost games by 20-plus points this year. This is when they're vulnerable because they had to play Friday night in L.A. and come right back and play early Sunday afternoon in Oracle.
Correct.
And what happened in this game? It seemed like Clay and Steph were pretty quiet in this game because they shot a grand total of 5 for 15 from 3. So they didn't ignite the crowd with their 3-point shooting, right? And Andre Iguodala had to play 35 minutes yesterday at age 35. It's almost 35 minutes. And that's a lot to ask of him because Bogut barely played. You see what I mean? They just went small. They went death lineup the whole day. Am I right?
Correct.
And they got away with it because everybody had to be a little bit gassed, which is why the Houston Rockets had 2 extra days to prepare, to recover, and they flew out early to the Bay Area so they could have get acclimated to the time change and to practice one big good time at Oracle. So it's on a silver platter for them to pull off, and the referees said no. And I'm here to tell you, I think the referees not only cost them this game, they just well might have cost them this series because the degree of difficulty will only go up in Game 2 because the Golden State will be a little more locked into how they're going to play, and I think Houston will be a little bit off kilter coming into Game 2.
Well, Skip, even though they didn't get the foul calls, and you and I think we agree those were fouls and they should have been called because James Harden gets officiated like this in the regular season. Skip, he was fouled 95 times attempting three-point shots. That's 61 clear of the next closest. So it's not like James Harden was doing something in the playoffs that he doesn't do in the regular season. He kicks his legs like that in the regular season, and you call it. Now you get into the playoffs, all of a sudden you swallow your whistle. I think the Rockets blew a golden opportunity because, as you mentioned, Clay and Steph combined for 31 points. Well, Gordon offset them by himself by having 27.
He did.
So if you get anything from PJ, now I'm going to give PJ Tucker, he has a tough assignment. He has to guard that 7-foot monster. He has to try to keep him at bay. That takes a lot of energy out of you. Skip, I can't give Capella a pass because he said, okay, you knew you were sick. Are you going to get up there and talk big? We want Golden State because we felt we had them last year. Well, the Rockets want you to play better than what you played on Sunday.
You got that.
Because 4 points and 6 rebounds won't cut it.
It won't cut it.
And when they went small.
Especially when you're playing against smaller people.
And at the end of the ball game, they reinserted Nene. And people are asking, well, why'd you reinsert Nene? Well, just the time before, they saw Draymond get 2 offensive rebounds. See, when they take Capella out, they're a really, really small team. And you have Draymond, who is a very good rebounder, and you have a 7-footer in Kevin Durant, who can also rebound the ball. So you're trying to offset that by putting in Nene, and now he gets one-on-one with Steph Curry. I was surprised that Steph took that last shot, considering he hadn't shot the ball particularly well in the game early on.
You say Steph?
Steph.
Okay, I got to give him props because that's the first big shot I've ever seen him make in a postseason game, where it had real magnitude to it, and he made it. It got canceled by what happened after that, because again, James should have had 3 free throws to tie it. But I give you that.
If I'm the Rockets, I don't change a thing, because Skip, if you notice what's happening, and I don't know how many people noticed it, I'm going to let Kevin Durant get his, because in the process of him getting
he's going to get his anyway.
But it takes Clay and Steph out of their shooting rhythm. If you notice, when he goes off, they struggle. Because what do? We feed the hot hand, and he's normally always hot, Skip. So you just,
to your point, he took 25 shots, and they took a combined 25 shots.
So that
Steph and
I'm good with that. Skip. I'm good with that. Let Kevin Durant. Look, Kevin Durant's going to get 30. We're going to try to minimize him so he doesn't get 50 on us, but he's going to get somewhere in the 30 to 38 points a game. You understand that. But in the process of him doing that, that means Clay and Steph are not finding a rhythm, and they can't kill us. But you got to take an opportunity. That was a golden opportunity. That game was right there for the taking.
Was it?
That was my only problem, Skip, and it makes me so upset because we talk about this in football season. Well, come playoff time, they officiate the game differently. They let them play a little bit more. If it's a foul, regardless of when it happens, it's a foul. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth. Regular season or playoffs, NBA finals, I don't care. Those are fouls they were committing against James Harden, and they should have been called.
So the great irony of this, and what sticks deepest in my craw, is what precipitated this new rule called the landing spot rule, by which you have to let the shooter come down cleanly.
You got Zaza
Pachulia shot. It was game 1 2 years back, Western Conference Finals, Oracle Arena. My team was ahead, the Spurs, 23 points in the third quarter. They would have won that game, but Zaza Pacheep shot happened with his size 32 shoe or whatever it was. It's like clown shoes. And he slid it underneath that guy who's now number 2 up in Toronto. Yep.
Oh, no.
You want to talk about him, Skip? Did you see that?
Did you see Siakam?
No, just Skip, don't do that. Skip, don't do that now.
Well, we'll talk about that later. But the point is, that was what triggered this rule. So Golden State benefited both ways.
Right.
They got away with that one, and it instituted a new rule. Right. And then they got away 6 times with this yesterday when it should have been called.
Yes.
Way to go. And that sent Chris Paul III completely over the edge at the end of the game, and he did bump that Josh Teven, the official.
Right.
He bumped him.
Yeah.
But we've seen him bump a lot of officials, and because he's the head of the players' union, I'm pretty sure they're not going to suspend CP3 for the next game, unless you think so, because I don't see it.
No.
He's such a hothead.
You can't suspend the man after you already done missed 17 fouls.
Yep, that is true. That would be a really bad look for the league. But again, Chris is so respected by players that it would just be the outcry, the backlash would be too severe. But did he bump the referee?
Yeah, he did.
Sort of on purpose? Yeah, he did. Did he hurt the referee or knock him down? No, he didn't do that.
And those two foul shots those two fouls they call double take. I think they call one on CP3 and they call one on D'Antoni. Skip, I mean, in this game, points are going to be at a premium. You could ill afford to give up 2 cheapies.
Nope, I'm with you. So I got to give Chris Paul this, because they looked, when Steph hit that huge shot, it looked like they were dead in the water, because that put Golden State up 5. And then they let James Harden just have a layup. They just blew the coverage, so he got a layup, so that cuts it to 3. And then Chris Paul stole the ball from Kevin Durant. I know Kevin had a monster game, but here's another thing that you had them on the ropes with. They had 20 turnovers yesterday.
Yes.
You should be able to win that game when Golden State turns it over 20 times.
Well, that's why they were in the game in the first half.
Kevin Durant, as much of a 7-foot monster as he is, he had 6 turnovers. And look at their starters. They had 18 turnovers among just the 5 starters, but 6 there. You just keep.
Well, he's averaging 6 turnovers a game. That's what allowed Houston to get back in the ball game when they were down 11 points to tie it up at the half, because the Warriors are very sloppy with the basketball. And Skip, if you notice this is their MO. They'll race out to a big lead, and then they'll get careless. They'll start being globetrotter-ish. They'll try things that they shouldn't, and instead of burying a team, they'll allow a team to creep back in it. And they allowed the Rockets to creep back into the ball games. Even in the third, they raced out, and then they turned the ball over, and the Rockets are right back in the ball game.
Yep.
And see, it's so hard not to foul James on the 3-point shot, Skip, because it's not like they're swinging the ball and he's getting wide open threes. All but about 25 of his 3-point shots have been contested. So you're trying to contest the shot. He does a great job of not only stepping back, but stepping to the side to get that shot off. They got to, Skip, you got to call these. And it's a must, because this is the way he's been officiated all year long.
Yep.
He's doing the same thing. It's not like James Harden did something different, like, well, he didn't do this in the regular season. This is the way he plays. Dribble, 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 study, pat between the legs. I'm dart, nope, come back, da-da-da-da, okay. And guys normally hit him on his wrist, or they body contacted. They did that yesterday, and he got none of the calls. This is unacceptable.
It is, and it cost them the game, and it cost Daryl Morey, the GM of the Rockets, the biggest game of his career. I'm sure he had targeted game 1 as the one they needed to win this series and to finally break through against Golden State. They had, according to The Athletic, presented the NBA with all kinds of second and third level data about how often Golden State gets favorable calls. So he planted seeds. Maybe he planted the wrong seeds. Maybe the referees had been lectured so much about don't give Golden State breaks that they thought, well, maybe, you know how psychology works, where you say, well, let's go the other way.
Those seeds are still planted.
Yeah.
Maybe they take root. Maybe they grow in game 2. That's all you could. I'm not counting them out just yet. The only thing that Golden State did was hold serve at home.
Okay.
The Rockets have to find one way. They're going to have to find a way to win one game on the road in order to win and hold serve at home. But they're going to have to find a way. Game 2, when is game 2? Wednesday?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
At
Okay.
Oracle, yeah.
You almost have to win game 2 if you're going to dethrone the champs. You just got to go home 1-1. Yeah. It's hard to hold serve when they get to come in with 2 free shots on your home court.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the team 4 out of 5.
Remember, they won the one game that they won at Houston, right? And that was without KD. So I think they feel pretty good at Houston. So it would be a long, hard climb to try to go hold serve in games 3 and 4 at home and then go back to Oracle. I don't like your chances with that.
I mean, only one guy can do that.
Who?
Win when you should. You lose 3 games and you just one way from being eliminated and find a way to bring that thing
I don't know who you're
back.
talking about, honestly. Who is that?
He's not playing right now.
Huh?
He ain't playing right now.
Oh, you mean that guy?
Yeah, he ain't
you know
playing
what?
right
Out of sight, out of mind.
No,
I
he ain't out of
forgot
mind.
all about
Don't
him.
do
I
that,
haven't
Skip.
been thinking about it.
Really?
3-1.
Huh?
They're still talking about it.
You mean the guy who just finished his 16th season? The guy who's nearing the end?
Yeah, I heard they were still talking about it over there in China.
Really?
They talking about
maybe
Singapore.
You know what? He should
Africa,
go play in
still talking
China.
about it.
Maybe he should.
No,
He'd be a god over in China.
No, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
He is one of those anyway. But Skip, this was wrong. The officials know that, and I don't want no 2-minute report. I don't want any report.
Joe Borgia already said it. So the 2-minute report is going to say they missed some calls on Clay, but they did not miss the call on Draymond. That's what it'll say, and that's wrong.
What good is that? Oh, you missed the calls. What are you? And that's the thing. It's not like one official is way down there. Skip, there's always 2 officials right at the top. So they're looking. I'm looking at the guy. He's looking at the guy. Okay, he's looking at James Harden's feet. Make sure he's behind the line. He's got the arm up. That's the 3-point shot. What else is he looking for?
We talk about it in all sports, though. Calls being missed in playoffs.
Yes.
It's just different, which
But
now.
it wasn't just one. It was a bunch.
Right.
Yeah.
And when players do things in the playoffs bad repeatedly, it costs them their jobs. Okay, officials.
Should be.
You need to be on the clock.
Held to the same.
How many calls do you get to miss, Skip, and still be able to do the thing over and over again? Because I can assure you, I'm not going to be able to drop continuous passes come playoff time. Just keep dropping passes. Like, he missed that one. He'll get it next time.
Keep your job? Yeah, probably not. All right, we're moving on. A Browns rookie had a very bold statement this weekend. We'll tell you about it next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM. We'll be right back. You enjoy.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here with a quick word from Simply Safe. Here's something interesting. Studies show that security systems deter burglars. It's a fact, but there's still a burglary every 8 seconds in America. How? Well, think about it. Do burglars give up just because some houses have security systems? Of course not. They just find a house that isn't protected. That's why securing your home is truly a necessity. So let me recommend this brilliant security system built by my friends at Simply Safe. Simply Safe believes fear has no place in a place like home, so they made their system ridiculously smart. Simply Safe sensors will protect every point of access to your home: doors, windows, garage, you name it. If a burglar even tries to break in, an ear-shattering siren will let them know the police are already on the way. Best of all, Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring is just $14.99 a month. And they'll never lock you in a long-term contract. More than 3 million people already know it feels good to fear less with Simply Safe. So go with the only home security I trust, Simply Safe, by going to simplysafe.com/undisputed. Go today and get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafe.com/undisputed for the home security I trust. simplysafe.com/undisputed. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
Well, the Browns made some huge moves this offseason, including bringing Odell Beckham Jr. to Cleveland. On Friday, they added to their collection of LSU Tigers by drafting cornerback Greedy Williams. Well, Greedy didn't hold his tongue on what he thought of his new team. He said, quote, "I know one thing, that the Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year. That's a fact." Shannon,
Fact.
do you like him saying this?
No. He got the right name. He being greedy. It ain't good enough, Skip, to get drafted. Yeah, he slid down the draft boards. Everybody says, well, he doesn't want to tackle. And John Dorsey said, his guys to cover, get the guy on the ground. He can do that. Look, he's a rookie. Skip, he has no idea, no earthly idea what it takes, the hard work that goes into getting to and winning the Super Bowl. I missed it. college football playoff has been going on for about 5 years. Alabama's won 2, Clemson's won 2, Ohio State's won 1. Which school did Greedy go to? Did he go to any of those schools? So he couldn't even go to the college football playoff. But he gonna go to he gonna just come into the league. We going to the Super Bowl. Really? Skip, I done got a guy. Now you know me. Talking is the last thing I'm gonna criticize someone for, because I was one of the foremost talkers. But it wasn't the off season. It was during the season. We're playing. You don't win.
I don't think you talked after you got taken in the 7th round.
No,
I don't think you predicted you were going to carry Denver to the Super Bowl.
No,
Okay.
it's even after I had made a name for myself and started going to Pro Bowls and being an All-Pro, I wasn't talking in the off season. Why do guys feel the need to talk in the offseason when there's so many things that need to take place to make sure you get to the season healthy and then you start playing well? Skip, you've seen their schedule starting out. That makes it seem like it's a cream puff. It's not easy.
Nope.
And we going to the Super Bowl, I guarantee. Because guess what happens? When it doesn't work out, they don't go to the Super Bowl, nobody's going to remember that he said that.
He also said, oh my God, me and Denzel, at first I thought he was talking about Washington, but he's actually talking about Denzel Ward, the other cornerback. We are going to tear up the league, said Greedy Williams. We're going to tear up the league. He also said, possibly we can be the 2 Pro Bowl corners in the league playing for the same team. Again, he has played exactly 0 snaps in the National Football League. And by the way, Greedy Williams was the 7th cornerback picked in this draft. The 7th, not the 1st, even though some of the draft analysts had him ranked number 1 or at worst number 2 in this draft.
Okay.
But just for the record, there was a cornerback who was taken 1 spot ahead of Greedy, and he was taken by Bill Belichick, who traded up 11 spots to take him. Guess where that cornerback was from, Mr. Sharpe?
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt University, the football factory of the SEC. Yes, it is. The football factory. Joe Juan Williams was taken 1 slot ahead of Greedy Williams, the right Williams. This is the right one is Joe Juan. And one went to Vanderbilt and one played for LSU, which is obviously the football factory with Alabama of the SEC. So why did Bill Belichick take Joe Juan Williams? Now, I know all about Joe Juan because I've been following him, but he's a big, strong stud cornerback at 6 feet 4 inches, 211 pounds. And why was he taken there by Bill Belichick? Because this is the first time I've ever heard Bill Belichick telegraph a draft pick. Because in his pre-draft media session that he did, a couple of weeks ago, he said that there are so many big receivers in this draft, and he said they're all 6'4", 225, that you need to have big corners to play big receivers because it's the new way of the NFL world, right? So he went up above Greedy, and he left Greedy on the board. He could have had Greedy himself to take Joe Juan Williams, the right Williams, from Vanderbilt because he went and worked him out and saw 6'4", 211. He did not run. He was 4'6", But you know what? I watched a bunch of Vanderbilt games. He can lock down big receivers.
But you know what, Skip? Coach Belichick values above all other? Yeah, he wants you to be smart, be able to play multiple positions. But you better be able to tackle.
Okay. And he can tackle. He's very physical. So what would have happened if by chance Bill Belichick had taken a shot on Greedy and Greedy had made these remarks about the Patriots? He might have cut him the next day. He might have, seriously.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, so John Dorsey is known for risk-taking. In Kansas City, let's see, John Dorsey drafted Tyreek Hill. He drafted Kareem Hunt. Oh, interesting. And now look what he keeps doing in Cleveland. He is high risk, high reward. Baker Mayfield had some high risk to him. He had one big off-field incident, drunken incident in Fayetteville. He had lots of on-field incidents where he's not exactly acting like franchise quarterback. Am I right? So there's some risk involved. So far, so good. Is Odell not a big risk on football character? Yes, it's high risk. How about Sheldon Richardson? I've told you, I never liked his football character. He's got him on the roster. So he's just going for broke. He wants talent over football character. Belichick, completely the opposite.
Totally
Give
agree.
me cogs in the system. I will teach them how to play my system my way. And they will listen to me because I have researched their background and they're extremely coachable cogs, right? You know Chase Winovich. You interviewed him after the Northwestern comeback win, right, on the field.
He's a character.
He's a character, but he's a good character.
He works hard.
And again, I think
He can play multiple positions.
and he can edge rush. So Winovich, to me, can be the next Ninkovich for Bill Belichick.
Yes.
He's got some Gronk flair to him, but he's a good-hearted guy, and I think he's highly coachable with a high motor. So there's a steal for me for Belichick.
I think so.
I think Joe Wan will be a steal in the second round, even though nobody had him rated that high. But Greedy Williams fits like a glove in Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
He's perfect for who they are and what
they do.
They want swagger. They want attitude. They want the Browns to walk on the field like they own the field. They want, like John Dorsey is comfortable with all of his Cleveland Browns telling you you're going to get beaten and then going out and doing it.
This reminds you of, Skip, in the 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, the Hurricanes, Miami.
Really?
It's like the U North.
Yes.
It is. It is. He wants the U. It's unbelievable what he's doing.
Just temper. Look,
Yeah.
on paper, and all the coaches, a lot of people have said on paper, the Cleveland Browns looks like the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But you don't play football game on paper.
No.
At some point in time, Skip, you got to push all this together. You go practice, meet, and then you go out there. Now, I'm gonna be very. I'm gonna play a little close attention because I have them winning the North, but I'm gonna play real close attention to Greedy. I'm gonna see how much he's gonna be eating.
Well, at least that's true. At least he has two big brothers from LSU there to sort of teach him the
Can't
ropes,
hurt.
right?
Yeah.
He's got Odell and he's got Jarvis Landry, so at least there's some LSU connections. So maybe they can sort of keep him a little bit between the lines, even though Odell has a problem sort of teaching himself how to act.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't know.
Dude, just let it go, bro. I mean, you're a second-round draft pick. Just be happy. Just go in there and, hey, keep your mouth closed, keep your head down, and work your tail off.
Yeah.
And then when you look up, the season will be over, and you're like, man, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give the Browns this. They are now clearly the center of the NFL universe. They're the team everybody wants to cover, write about, talk about, watch. They are now must-watch TV, and unfortunately, Hard Knocks was 1 year too early. 1 year,
wish we could
because
do
this
another.
would have been off the charts, Hard Knocks.
Have we decided who's going to do Hard Knocks, Skip?
Maybe we could change the rules.
Let
and
the
do it again.
Cowboys do it.
Would you be
They're
okay
old
with that?
news.
No.
No?
Because Jerry going to try to steal the show.
Yeah.
You already know it. It's not going to be about the players. It's going to be about
I thought
Jerry.
I read that they haven't picked it yet.
I think
know.
I've
I thought
seen
somebody
anything.
was. I can't remember.
Unless
you
we all
want it to
missed
be?
it. Yeah, I don't think
Who do
it's
you want it to
announced
be?
yet.
I say the Browns should get back to back. No, seriously. Would I just be glued to every episode?
Oh, so you want to
know
rerun?
what?
You want a rerun?
You know what? I think John Dorsey would welcome it
I
back.
actually do too.
I think he loved it.
Yeah.
Do you think he was bothered by the comments?
No.
See, that's the difference.
I think that's what he wanted.
They don't mind.
He got it.
The attention,
Yeah.
they love the attention.
Yeah. So why did Greedy fall? Because he doesn't tackle. Well, once upon a time, Deion Sanders wouldn't tackle, but as John Dorsey said about Greedy, he just gets people on the ground when he has to. Well, I'll buy that, but can you back up Super Bowl talk on the field?
Well, here's the thing. Deion didn't really have to tackle because his guy couldn't get open to catch the ball, so he didn't have to tackle him.
No.
He was chasing out other people's men
That is
from
true.
scoring a touchdown.
No,
I
you're
can
right.
assure you, I feel very comfortable in saying, going on record, Greedy Williams is not going to be Deion. He's not going to be Time.
He might talk like Deion. Yeah.
The thing was, but Time didn't really do a whole lot of talking.
No.
He really didn't.
No, you're right. You're right. You know what? He might say one or two things because I covered him for the year in Dallas. When he spoke, you listened,
Interesting.
and it would be pretty arrogant, but he would just back it up.
Yeah, he didn't really talk about his game.
No.
He talked about his fashion game or his jewelry game or his car game. But on the field, he didn't do a whole lot of talk. But you knew. But you better not be doing any talking.
You better not.
A lot of high expectations for this
Well,
Browns team.
I'll be watching the Browns, but I still favor the Steelers slightly, and we're going to talk about the Steelers in just a
Baker, I
minute.
trust.
Yeah, they've made some
Bet
changes.
you finally
And
trust
Baker.
Baker.
Old Bake.
Okay, I'm glad
Shake
you're
and
on
bake.
board.
Oh, shake and bake, what they call him
I'm
up in
glad you
Cleveland.
are on board.
No mercy.
Also, over the weekend, the Panthers did something they haven't done since 2011, and that's draft a quarterback. Carolina selected Will Grier from West Virginia in the 3rd round, but GM Marty Herney was quick to say Cam Newton is still the team's franchise quarterback and added, quote, "This has nothing to do with Cam." The former league MVP is coming off his 2nd shoulder surgery in less than 2 years. Skip.
Yes.
Does this pick have anything to do with Cam?
This pick has everything to do with Cam Newton. And Shannon Sharpe,
Yes.
Jenny, I was double shocked by this pick because obviously for weeks on this show, I've been on record. Will Grier is the 2nd best quarterback in this draft to Kyler Murray.
Okay.
He's better than Daniel Jones. He's better than Dwayne Haskins. He's better than Drew Lock. We're going to talk about Drew here later in the show. I think he's a little better than Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen or Josh Allen from last year. That's how much I think of him. And I did see on draft day a Pro Football Focus article with the headline, "The advanced numbers suggest Will Grier may be the steal of the 2019 NFL draft." Okay, so I believe in this. I thought somebody was going to get a steal in round 2. I was shocked that he fell to the bottom of round 3. And then my double shock, fall off the chair shock was, he got picked by Cam Newton's team? What?
Yes.
Marty Herney, the GM of the Carolina Panthers, did not take Will Grier to be a career backup. I'm sorry, he just did not.
No.
The kid is just too good. He's got the it factor. He plays biggest in big games. He's got a huge arm. His greatest strength is his deep ball throwing. He just has a panache about him, just a swagger to him that you just love. He's fun to watch, and he's not afraid of the moments or the stages. And in this case, he's from Charlotte. He was watching the draft like 10 blocks away from the stadium. So it's made for one more year of Cam to see how he does, maybe 2 to see if he plays better. But I got to tell you, Cam is going to be 30 on May 11th. He has taken an awful lot of punishment. He's been beat up, banged up, and he finally needed shoulder surgery back in January, and they say he still can't throw yet. So they're not even sure about him going forward into game 1 this year. So obviously, Cam, and I was all for Cam going number 1 when he went number 1, and he backed that up by winning the MVP in 2015 when they went 15-1 and got to the Super Bowl. Then what's happened 2016, 17, and 18? His QBRs have been 27th in the league, 18th in the league, and 18th in the league. He went the year after the Super Bowl, he went 6-8 as starter. They did go 11-5 2017, lost to New Orleans in the wild card. 6-8 last year. So he hasn't lived up the last 3 years to MVP. So is it possible that they just sat back and said, we could have Will Grier at the bottom of the 3rd round? We'd have a chance to go forward with him. He might need a year. He might need 2. They might need him next year. They just might. That right out of the box, they might need him, and the stage would not be too much. The pressure and expectation wouldn't be too much for Will Grier to start for them right out of the box next year, if need be. So, again, I love the pick. I don't love it for Cam. What did he do? He liked was it a Facebook or no? It was an Instagram post. The announcement. He liked it. So I don't.
To say? Hate it?
I know. We could just be quiet about it, I guess.
Skip, look, I agree with everything you just said. And when you thinking Will Grier is going to go somewhere, you think Will Grier is going somewhere that doesn't have a proven commodity at the quarterback position. I don't care what anybody says. General managers are lying. When you take a player at a certain position. So let me ask you a question. If the Dallas Cowboys draft the left tackle in the 3rd round, what are they telling Tyron Smith? When you draft a player at that position, that player, and you draft a guy at his position in the early rounds, they're telling you something. Whether or not you choose to listen to them is something entirely different. Skip, look, I was in Baltimore. I went to the Pro Bowl. We went to the playoffs. They drafted Todd Heat in the 1st round. You think they were trying to tell me something, Skip? They sure were. And I listened. I understood what they were telling me.
And he was a high-profile pick.
Yes.
He was well-known. On was it Hard Knocks?
Yes.
He became a big part of the story.
Yes. So it's very interesting because when you look at Cam's contract, they can get out of this contract after this year for not a lot of money. Cam, he plays this season. He's going to have 1 year left on his contract. You take a guy like that. I'll give you another very similar situation. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
They took Jimmy G. They didn't take Jimmy G to they had to make a decision. Well, Coach Belichick was going to make one decision. Mr. Kraft made Coach Belichick make another decision. Is that what it's going to come down to?
Yep.
Somebody's going to have to make a decision, Skip. You took this young man, knowing what he could possibly bring to the table, knowing his potential, and knowing what you have. See, Skip, when I look at Cam's numbers as far as QBR, even when he won the MVP, he only finished ninth in QBR.
You're right.
He's never going to be a QBR guy. He throws too many balls off his back foot. He throws the ball down the field a lot.
Okay, how about this stat? Over the last 3 years, he tied for the NFL lead in interceptions.
That's not good.
Okay, that's not good.
That's not good.
43 over 3 years.
I mean, and we both believe this year early on Cam's shoulder was hurt. And
It
they finally
was.
got to the point
No
that
doubt.
they said finally, you need to set it down.
Yep.
But Skip, this is not a good sign. If I'm Cam, I'm looking at them like, oh, okay. So this is what y'all doing.
So he's feeling it. He's feeling
Okay,
the pressure.
so now players, let this be a wake-up call to all players. NFL football teams will always do what's in the best interest of the team. So when it comes time to get that paycheck, don't you be cutting no hometown discounts because you're on the clock.
Yep, good point. It also could be a pick to relight the fire under Cam, where he's not exactly sure his job is a long-term job. He will compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
So will we see the best out of Cam Newton next year? If he's healthy.
Right.
And I don't know, once you have shoulder surgery, it can never quite get right if it's your throwing arm.
And the surgery was January, so
Yeah,
he has
you
had a
would
good
think
amount of
so.
time at this point to heal up.
So you know what finally dawned on me about picking quarterbacks?
What?
There are always too many to go around because there are only a handful of teams in the first round that needed a quarterback.
Correct.
Right? Because a lot of teams have a quarterback or they're going to try to go forward and make do with the quarterback.
Correct.
So they're just not going to take a first round kind of talent quarterback, maybe even a second round. So some quarterbacks are going to fall because everybody's got a different opinion of Daniel Jones. Gettleman may be the only one who loves him.
Yeah, I think he's the only one that loves him.
He may be. So down they start falling. And once they start falling, that's why Joe Montana is going to go in the third round or Tom Brady is going to go in the sixth round because too many teams don't need one.
Right.
On every other position, you're always trying to get better at that position, right?
Yes, and I think another thing, Skip, is that when I look at it, okay, if we take Will Greer early and he has to sit, how does that help us this year? How does that help us next year? And so normally you want guys that's going to be able to jump on the field right now and help us right now. So maybe they are down the road somehow, but Cam was like, hold on, I'm about to be 30.
Yep.
I'm not even in my prime. I hadn't even reached my prime.
That is true. If Tom Brady's going to play at
42. So Cam was like, I hadn't even reached my...
But the difference is Cam has taken a lot of punishment.
Yes.
And as you know, it's cumulative. It's just like it's wear and tear on your body. He's got a huge body, but he's taken huge amount of licks.
It's like a boxer.
Yeah.
You might not get a whole bunch of hits. You might not be in those slugfests.
Yep.
But if you fight 15, 20 years, where you talk about golden gloves in amateur and all in Olympics, if you do that in the now professional career, it's cumulative effect. So Cam, although he might not, doesn't run as much as he once did, but he ran enough in college. He ran enough his first couple of years to build up.
So is his injury risk getting higher and higher in his 30s? Yeah.
Probably so, yes.
Because what's Tom Brady do the best of all? He avoids any kind of contact or injury possibility.
Yeah,
right?
and that's how my guy do up in Green Bay.
Really?
Yeah, he threw the ball away. Even though some want to criticize, he threw the ball away, Jenny. He broke his record, Jenny. He threw the ball, he shattered Phillip Rivers' record. He shattered it.
But he has had injuries.
Yeah.
Lots of injuries.
No, it was just...
I'm confused
He
what you're
has
talking
run the
about.
ball a whole lot.
He didn't get injured from running the football. It was a freak incident in the pocket.
Oh, really? So he can't avoid the big collision in the pocket.
Whatever.
Interesting.
Well, if he had Tom Brady's line, Tom Brady only got sacked like 20 times. Only Drew Brees got sacked fewer.
His no-name line that you can't name one of them?
There you go. Don't worry about it.
Bunch of sixth-rounders and free agents?
I can't name the 10 wealthiest men in the world, but they know who they are.
I think you probably could.
I could. But I'm just saying, you know my point. Now, I bet you know the top 10 owners in the NFL. You know those guys, and they ain't got all 10 of them together ain't got as much money as Bezos.
Yeah. When I think of owners, I can only think of one.
Don't worry about it.
Jerry.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the
Jerry
one.
is the owner.
But they'll win.
The
They'll
one.
win.
Oh, they just won the division last.
That ain't nothing, Skip.
It's okay.
You don't even hang flags for divisions.
Yeah.
You hang flags for. Oh, so you got an NFC East up in Jerry world.
Yeah.
Really?
We hang them.
Y'all hang.
Hang them high.
I know.
Yeah.
Proud.
When you go to Gillette Stadium, you look up there and you
Yeah.
look up, all you see is 03, 01 and 03, 04, and then 14, and then 16, and then.
They got Tom Brady. We have Brady-esque. That's all we have is Brady-esque. So it's going to take us a little while to break through.
No, they got butter. Y'all got parquet.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. They got the real stuff.
Well, I'll take the other.
No,
I'll take
no.
the sort of
They just
quasi.
getting that down.
Probably
Ain't no
not.
quasi.
Probably not.
Ain't no quasi.
Hey, we're moving on. Should Mike Tomlin be worried about his job right now? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Don't forget to thank the real pros this Mother's Day. Where would you be without your mom? My mom is a pro at making me feel so loved and taken care of always. She will laugh at me for saying this, but she's also a pro at shopping. She really is my personal shopper, and it's something we love to do together. Then there's my grandma. She's simply the best, always making me smile. And I have so many friends who are incredible mothers. I want to make sure to tell them just how special they are on Mother's Day. My personal favorite bouquet is the Mother's Day Spectacular. It's crafted from their ever-popular stargazer lilies and blue iris and is a spectacular way to celebrate any occasion. A great new baby gift, perfect for housewarmings, welcome home events, and most importantly, it makes for a fantastic Mother's Day gift. Plus, it's only available at ProFlowers. If the Mother's Day Spectacular isn't for you, ProFlowers lets you choose from a variety of other bouquets and unique vases that suit every mom's style. Then simply select the delivery date you want. ProFlowers then carefully packages your flowers and delivers them fresh from the farm with express delivery, which means her flowers stay fresh. Right now, get 1 dozen assorted roses for $19.99. Double the roses and get a premium vase for just $9.99 more. Visit proflowers.com. Click the microphone in the upper right corner and enter my code UNDISPUTED. That's proflowers.com. Click the microphone code UNDISPUTED. Mother's Day is May 12th, so don't wait. Order like a pro and get this amazing rose deal to thank all the moms in your life. I'm honestly going to go make my order right now.
No mercy.
Back to the NFL we go. The Steelers are heading into next season without Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, and that seems to be just fine with Mike Tomlin. Tomlin was asked by ESPN Saturday about his offseason comment that he wanted volunteers and not hostages and said, quote, "There's been a cleansing, if you will. I meant what I said. I didn't say it to be cliche." Shannon, do you agree with Tomlin?
I do. But if he don't win some ball games, guess what? Steelers going to do some more cleansing. But it won't be with players, Mike T. Skip, he said something very interesting after that Facebook Live post in, I think it was 2017, because it was 2016 season, 2017. He said it was foolish of him to do that. It was selfish of him to do that. It was also inconsiderate of him to do that. This is what he said after Antonio Brown's Facebook Live post. We will punish him. We won't punish us. So in other words, you just told Antonio Brown, Antonio, go do whatever you want to do because it's going to be okay. We saw a very similar situation, Skip, with Coach Coughlin. Coach Coughlin, known as a disciplinarian, strict, devout.
That's true.
If you're 5 minutes, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late. The reporter asked him, Coach Coughlin, when you saw Odell out there behaving in the manner in which you did, why wouldn't you take him out the game? He said, we trying to win the game. So in other words, you told Odell that his behavior is okay if you can help me win. Mike Tomlin's got to bear some responsibility. See, Skip, I have a dog named Tonka. He get on the couch and he leaves hair. I don't get upset. How am I going to get upset at Tonka for leaving hair on the couch when I allowed it to happen? How are you going to get upset at AB when you allowed it?
Why didn't you pick a hypoallergenic dog?
Nah, I ain't like them kind. I ain't like
I
them.
did.
I don't want no old foo. I want a real dog. I
Get
want
a Maltese.
Sometimes when he's around, I want to
tough
sneak.
and they don't shed.
No. I got a little. I got some little foo, but I want a big old Tonka man. You know, Skip.
A little about both.
Yeah. I think Mike Tomlin is like, he just wants to, everybody wants to be absolved. See, for me, I don't really have a problem with anything Le'Veon did. You could have cleansed Le'Veon years ago, Skip. All you had to do is not franchising. You could have cleansed him. Okay, you didn't cleanse him that first year because you wanted to see if he could do it again and stay healthy. He did it. You could have cleansed him the second time and not franchise him again. Guess what you really could have done at Antonio? When he did the Facebook Live post, you could have not gave him the long-term deal. So you could have cleansed this a lot sooner than what you did. But for me, at this point in time, Skip, I don't really know because there's a great chance AB and Le'Veon both will respond. Because they say, see, we had left well enough alone, and then Coach Tomlin bring us back into the fray. So I got to retort his answer. Just let it go. Okay, you guys, I wish those guys the best of luck. It was great while they were here. They're a heck of a ball player. But we weren't able to get to our ultimate goal, but we wish those guys nothing but the best. But you're going to talk about, it was a cleansing. Well, I'll tell you what, have that same record you had last year.
Okay.
And it'll be another cleansing. And I ain't talking about that old Beyonce cleanse, that lemon and cayenne pepper.
Like
nah, it's going to be a real cleansing, a thorough cleansing.
So before I answer Jenny's question, I got to say one more time, among NFL coaches, Mike T is the best interview by far.
No question.
He is a wordsmith. I hang on his every word. I need volunteers, not hostages. Love that.
Yes.
We are going to have a cleansing. What coach would say we're going to have a cleansing?
Yeah.
Who would say that? Nobody would say that.
No.
It's quotable and it's accurate. It's
Yeah.
like third level accurate because I believe they are going to, or they have cleaned house, cleared the decks, cleared the air of all things AB and Le'Veon. Not that they weren't talented players, and not that he isn't the ultimate players coach, because he is. To a fault, he let them go way too far, both of them. But he may be on the hot seat from above. He may be on the clock, literally, right?
Yes, absolutely.
He may have been told, we need to see a whole lot more next year. So there's a lot of addition by subtraction. Obviously, I love the Devin Bush pick that they traded up 10 spots in the first round, which they just don't do that.
No.
And they took a young man, Jenny knows him well, who will change the culture on defense. He will bring back a little bit of steel curtain attitude to that defense. And I think they just, in the third round, they took that Justin Lane out of Michigan State, and Todd McShay loved that pick and projects him as a starter. So it's very possible they'll have, with Steven Nelson, they'll have two new starters at cornerback, Devin Bush in the middle. Remember, last year they tied for the NFL lead in sacks already, so that's pretty good. So all of a sudden you're going to lift up that defense with just a new swagger to it. Like, it's not even swagger, it's just attitude, a harder nose to it. We are the Steelers. I think you're going to see that new mentality. And on offense, I still say they got weapons. They got Juju. They got James Washington they took last year. I think he will emerge. Eli Rogers. They got Big Ben. They signed Dante Moncrief. They got Vance McDonald. And
solid
obviously,
offensive line. Very good offensive
very
line.
Very good. James Conner, Jalen Samuels, who ran wild on the Patriots. And then in the, I believe it's the fourth round, they took Benny Snell out of Kentucky.
Correct.
He was first team All-SEC 2 straight years. He was the MVP of the Citrus Bowl for what it's worth, but he is 5'11", 224. He is a sledgehammer. He is a short yardage bowling ball. That's what he is.
Yes.
So you got three who can all do different things.
Right.
You have an all-purpose and
I mean, think
James
about
Conner.
let that sink in for a second, Jenny. You got three different guys that all do something different when you had one guy that did all that.
I think it'll add up. I think three will equal one. And three all want to play, man. They want to play hard.
He says, Coach Tomlin also said after Antonio Brown did what he did, he's got to grow from this. He works extremely hard. He's extremely talented, but things get minimized. You minimized it. Ain't no things get minimized. You minimized it by allowing him. Sometimes, Skip, I know it is like, but you got to send a message. You said to Antonio Brown, Antonio, you're so talented. Skip, that's unforgivable. There's a reason why they do not let the media in who pays the bills. The networks, the Foxes and the CBSs, the ESPN, the NBCs, they don't allow them in for 15 minutes afterward. There's a reason why, Skip.
Yep.
Things get said. It's an emotional time in there. That's supposed to be sacred.
Okay.
And he takes it live.
So, speaking of Antonio Brown, I believe next year he will be the unsung MVP of the Steelers. He has taken so many parting shots at them that I think he has lit fires all around the Steelers locker room under all kinds of players. Yeah. I think Ben is going to come back with purpose this time. Ben is not going to be able to rest on any laurels. He had a very good year last year, but he has been called out by Antonio Brown. And I told you, he's my early pick for MVP. Because he's still I think he's still in the middle of his prime at 37.
Man, if I'm Ben Roethlisberger, you think I care about Antonio Brown calling me out?
Yeah, I do.
Guess what? The Roonies called him out. Come to our office and pick up this $50 million check. That's who called him out. So I ain't worried about Antonio Brown. I ain't worried about none of that stuff. The Roonies backed me. The Roonies said, you're our guy. They're gone.
Okay. There's a whole lot of talk coming out of Cleveland, and it's going to resonate in the Steeler locker room. Because they still consider themselves the kingpin of this
AFC
division,
North.
right?
Yep.
They just do. That's how they were built. That's how they were taught. And I think they are quietly simmering, and they can't wait for their 2 games against Cleveland next year.
Oh, Shake and Bake got something for him, though.
Who?
Oh, Shake and Bake.
Yeah, which one is that?
Old Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I didn't know if it was Odell
No, the
or
old Shake.
Jarvis.
Yeah, old
or-
Shake and Bake.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we put something on him, little
Really?
season, little season.
So you mean the guy that you said shouldn't be the first overall pick
Skip.
last year? Oh, that's
come a
ancient
long
history.
way. He's
Ancient
come a long
history.
way.
I see.
Hold on. It happened. It happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes it might not be the first. I mean, Matt wasn't Jenny's first. But he's where he is now, so he happy. You can't get caught up.
How do you know this?
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh, my bad, man. I
are you
wasn't
sharing
supposed to say.
secrets now?
I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm sorry.
That was,
know who
that
else?
was kind of an intimate detail.
He was like,
there.
oh, we're talking about my personal life on national television.
Yeah,
you know what else the
interesting.
Steelers got that I
Let's
like?
get back
What do you
on
like?
track
I
here.
liked Zach Gentry a lot.
Who
at
do
Michigan.
you?
I know a 5th-round pick, but he was the first
I
quarterback
know.
pick for Harbaugh. He transitioned to tight end. He got injured against Ohio State, but you're rolling your eyes like you're not so sure.
Because he cost me twice. He cost me at Notre Dame
No, but
with
he
the
got
drop at the
injured.
goal line, and he dropped a pass near the end of the first half at Ohio State.
got hurt.
In the back of the end zone.
He got
Hit him
hurt,
right
though.
in the hands. In the
Yeah,
second
but
half.
Maybe
He got hurt.
should've
it's just
been the
something about. I hope it's just something about these
He is
Michigan
a
tight
talented
ends.
player,
Skip.
and he's like 6'6".
Huge. I sat down with him.
Yeah.
He's 6'7".
Enormous.
Well,
I
she
think.
sat down with him, Skip, which means guess what?
Not a freshman.
He was a freshman.
No, it was a story about his journey.
Oh, yeah. Oh, freshmen don't have journey. Oh, they don't leave high school. You know, Skip, they don't leave high
I
school.
thought about you guys gave me a hard time about that. The reason we don't sit down with freshmen is because often they don't want to allow the freshmen to talk to the media because they're freshmen. They have to, work up to that.
So
They have to work up to your level.
One last quick thought about Shake and Baker, your new guy. I love Baker Mayfield. I was the one who said he should be picked first overall, and he backed me up last year. And I know he has to grow the chip on his shoulder, but you can't take shots at people who are picking mock drafts or draft picks, the people who he said didn't play and they don't know anything about. Howie Roseman didn't even play high school sports, and he built the Philadelphia Eagles into a Super Bowl champ, right?
Yeah.
Howie Roseman.
Right.
R.C. Buford didn't even play college basketball, and look what he did in the NBA. So it doesn't equate. You can't do that. You can't take that shot.
Well, Skip, look, if you've gotten drafted or you get an opportunity to play in the NFL, clearly you've had success. But everybody that got drafted is not going to make an NFL roster. So then what? Those same guys in the mock draft, I guess they were right on some occasions. Everybody that got drafted in the first round is not going to pan out. So I guess those guys in the mock draft, I didn't worry about, okay, you don't think I can play. It's not my job to prove you right, to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove me right because I believe I can. Guys get so caught up in what someone says about this. You believe it? Because for me, the way I've always looked at this, Skip, in order for me to take personally what you say, I got to value your opinion. See, if I don't value your opinion, I don't give a damn what you say.
True.
Clearly, these guys care more about the opinion of others than they lead on, Skip. So it really bothers them that you be.
We say we shouldn't read the media. You shouldn't read social media. I mean, all these guys, they shouldn't be paying attention to that anyways.
Yeah. And then the first thing they say, nobody gave us a chance. Nobody believed in us. Nobody's talking about us. The first time, Skip, we don't do, we're not covering them like we do one of the other teams. Now, nobody believed. Where were you at when we were struggling? Where were you at when nothing was going our way? Well, damn, bro, how you want it?
Well, we are talking about Baker. We are talking about the
Give
Browns.
me some good stuff,
We
Skip.
will be
Give me
watching.
some good stuff right here, Skip.
Really? Breakfast of Champions?
I don't know about all that, but it's some good stuff. I
I'm
appreciate
glad
that.
you bought yourself one out of the can.
Actually, Skip, this is your can.
Really?
Yeah, this was in your
Oh,
refrigerator.
you took it out of my
Get out of- I don't think you're allowed in there.
because
You know what? I did not. My refrigerator got raided. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Something
It was
happened.
raided.
Yeah,
It was
they
empty.
do. Because you hadn't paid off your debt. You
How did
lost.
you do that?
You got to
You
lock
lost.
your door.
You owe me a whole case
How many times have you paid off your debt?
twice.
You got Fox to pay it off. You took it out of my stash.
This is just bad news.
I mean, I couldn't.
can't-
You had a 2-liter in there too.
You did go in my refrigerator. He raided my refrigerator. It's unbelievable.
This guy will stop at nothing around here. And the Celtics won game 1 yesterday, but is the series already over? Chris Broussard answers that question next.
No mercy.
The Celtics surprised a lot of people yesterday by rolling past the Bucks in Game 1 in Milwaukee. Giannis had 22 points, but he made just 7 of his 21 shots and was swarmed by Boston's defense throughout the game. Afterwards, he said, quote, "If they are going to play like this the whole series, I have to be able to make the right pass and trust my teammates to knock down shots." So we're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Chris, you have been high on the Bucks all season long. We haven't forgotten.
Yep.
So how much trouble is Milwaukee in?
Well, as somebody who picked them in 6 in this series, they're in more trouble than I expected. I'll tell you that. Look, all season long, well, for 3/4 of the season, as Boston was struggling, I still was like, look, Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston are all on the same level. Either of them could win the East. And then toward the end of the season, like the last month when Boston didn't turn it around, still had their problems, I wrote them off. I said, they can't beat Milwaukee or Toronto.
Yep.
Now Boston has apparently flipped the switch. And this is the team that most people expected to see throughout the season. And I think they're capable of beating Milwaukee, Toronto, Houston. I'm not sure yet about Golden State, but I think they're right there with those teams. Now, I'm not saying they will beat those teams, but they're capable. I'm still with Milwaukee. I still feel good about them. But this is gut check time for Giannis Antetokounmpo and Mike Budenholzer.
Yep.
Both of them. Giannis is probably going to be the MVP. He was my vote. And this game yesterday kind of reminded me in a different way, obviously, of Game 2 with Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverly. How Beverly did this incredible job guarding him, and it looked like he had really found out an answer to stop Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant answered in a big way. He obviously, since then, he's been off the charts. Let's see if Giannis can do that. Now, in fairness to him, he didn't get any help, not from his other starters. Brook Lopez, Eric Bledsoe, Sterling Brown, they were like 3 for 17 combined. Didn't produce any points. Middleton didn't have his usual type of game with only 16 points. The bench gave him something, but he's going to need more from his other guys. Budenholzer as well. He was out-coached. And Budenholzer's probably going to be coach of the year. The coaches voted him coach of the year. He again got my vote. But Brad Stevens out-coached him yesterday. When the opponent comes into your building and shoots 54% and you are the best defense in the league, they made some adjustments. You just stood pat and didn't. And now it's time for Budenholzer to make the adjustments. Remember a few years ago when Atlanta won 60?
Right.
And then the Cavs swept them.
Right.
And we gave Budenholzer, and I think rightly, a pass because he didn't have stars. Obviously, the Cavs had LeBron and Kyrie and all that. He won't get a pass this time. You've got the star in Giannis. I think the talent is close. Maybe you give Boston a slight edge, maybe, but the talent is close. So it's gut check time for those two guys, and obviously Game 2 is a must-win.
I agree. You hate to say they're in trouble. They go down 0-2, they're in big trouble. They'll probably get swept. Skip, Giannis, and this is this is the reason why when I look at Giannis, he has to take another step because if he couldn't get to the rim, you see what happened. They forwarded him off. They said, you're not getting to the rim. And when he got to the rim, Al Horford says, I'm challenging everything. If you put me on a poster, you put me on a poster. But I'm not giving you any dunks without you being challenged. And all of a sudden, now you're looking at him, he's 7 of 21. And like you say, he's going to have to trust. Well, how am I going to trust Brook Lopez, Sterling Brown, Eric Bledsoe? They 3 of 17 with 12 points. I can't trust that. I needed Middleton to give me a little more because the Celtics got great contribution. They got Jason Tatum didn't play particularly well. Al Horford was magnificent yesterday. Kyrie was Kyrie. Jaylen Brown. Gordon Hayward stepped up. Terry Rozier. The guys that the Celtics were counting on, they showed up and they showed out, especially Al Horford. Al Horford on the defensive end, Skip, I believe he's their second best player. He's their second most important player because the pick and pop, he can pick and roll, he sets very good screens, and he's a very, very good defender. As Giannis, is he a very good defender?
He was fantastic.
Because that's what teams have been doing. They've been putting their big guy on Giannis, daring him to shoot from outside. Well, they put Rudy Gobert, he goes by Rudy Gobert, dunks it. They put Joel Embiid on him, he up-fakes Joel Embiid, he goes by him and dunks. Al Horford said, I ain't taking the bait. Go ahead. If you want to shoot them threes, have at them. Because I don't believe you're Steph Curry. I don't believe you can make enough to make me come hug up on you and you go by me. They got their work cut out. They better not lose this next one, Chris. They lose this next one, somebody's going to be in a heap of trouble. And Giannis, hey, Giannis, you might want to rethink that. Because you lose this next game, you'll have plenty of time to film with LeBron James.
Oh, really?
Because you won't be busy. Space Jam 2 is back on the table.
He does not do Hollywood.
Hey, and clearly he don't win playoff games either. So if you don't win this game,
we'll see. We shall see.
You lose game 2, Skip Bayless.
Yep.
Hey, LeBron, Giannis will be joining you.
So my first takeaway from after the game was suddenly Kyrie Irving is happy. He's just happy. He's so happy.
This could throw a monkey wrench in some offseason plans, right?
He's happy.
Feeling great.
He's happy with his teammates, and his teammates are probably like grudgingly happy with him because he's really playing it. He had a career high 11 assists.
Loved it.
Way to go. And my other takeaway was, I've told you from the start, I just need to see Giannis do it at the highest level.
Come play out there.
And this is not the highest, but it's pretty high.
Yeah.
These are home games after you swept a team you should have swept, but these are home games against a legitimate contender. And you came up small yesterday. In the double block
He didn't
by,
play 6'11".
No, he did not. But that,
I was shocked at those
the
blocks.
double block by Horford, but they were both bad ideas from Giannis. You can't just shoot it right in his face because the first one's just right in his face, and he ate that one if we can see it, and then I think it's coming later. Whoops. That's another one.
Dude, I mean, it may seem like Al Horford 6'4". Al Horford 6'10".
Giannis doesn't have tremendous moves because he hadn't had to at that height.
So the Celtics blocked 11 shots yesterday. Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford each blocked 3 shots. That's a lot of blocking going on in the house of blocks, where Giannis usually just terrorizes the visiting team. And again, Giannis had by far the worst plus-minus on the floor. He was a minus 24, and he didn't get much help. But again, they're all waiting for him to go, and then they feed off him. They've been feeding off him all year. Do they miss Malcolm Brogdon? Yes, they do, because he is a hellacious perimeter defender, just a tough guy. Is he going to make it back this series? They say he's shooting. I don't know. It sounds iffy whether he's going to be able to play. And they're going to need him because once Boston lost Marcus Smart, it somehow clarified the rotation. All of a sudden, it all fell into place the way it wasn't before. Listen, Terry Rozier comes off the bench just lighting it up. He had 9 rebounds yesterday. That just, every time he comes in, I'm like, he can play. And we saw he could play last year. And somehow he and Kyrie have kind of made peace with their minutes and the threat factor both ways. So all of a sudden, like you said, switch got flipped. And I would expect Milwaukee to win Game 2, but they have to win Game 2. This is do or die.
You hate saying the Game 2 is a must-win,
but it's
a must-win on your home court. You know what? When I listen to Kyrie, the thing that I love about Kyrie and what I'm starting to see, I see growth. Because he knows, he said it, I can get my shot anytime. I can get whatever I want. I can get anywhere I want. If I want to get to the rim, I can get there. If I want to pull up in the mid-range, I can get there. If I want to shoot the 3, I can get there. It's all about not alienating. So he has to find the fine line. Do I go take over and then these guys don't have a rhythm? It was like, okay, I got going early. Okay, now let me get my guys a rhythm. They need me again. Let me get going again. Okay, now let me find them a rhythm. Because 11 assists, Kyrie?
For him?
11 assists?
What I see in Kyrie is, I've been watching this all year. he really is following in LeBron James's footsteps. Like during the regular season, there was drama. A lot of it created by him, right?
Yep.
And then come postseason, flip a switch, everything is good, and now they're rolling. Like he really seems to be following in LeBron's footsteps.
He does. Yeah. And now the two besties, Kyrie and KD, are both very happy all of a sudden, right? And they're both dominating at the same time. I don't know if that speaks well for them to stay or listen, if they both go somewhere together, they're going to take this league over.
No question. And look, Kyrie, I hope, just for as a fan, I would love to see KD and Kyrie go to New York. But Kyrie's great, just for the league, it'd be great. And it was spread out the talent and all that. Yeah. But Kyrie is in a phenomenal situation. Phenomenal. I mean, you got a great organization, a great supporting cast, great coach. You know, he's a superstar. And they probably get Anthony Davis if he stays. Like, it'd be a lot for him to leave. KD, I just think Golden State, I think this might be their last run just because of the mental. It's mentally taxing to keep going to the finals. But we'll see.
Isn't that wild, though, that we're talking about one game and the whole regular season was kind of a disaster for the Celtics, yet now they figured it out.
Right.
And he said they would.
Well, this is why, with Milwaukee, why I picked Toronto to beat them in the conference finals. We'll see if they get there, but because of the lack of experience. None of these guys, Giannis, none of them have this type of experience. So let's see how they respond.
And you can understand Toronto, because you saw what that old boy, ooh, boy, that number, ooh.
Who, Siakam?
I know they miss him down south.
Yeah, I know they would. First of all, there would not have been a Game 7.
Right, and they wouldn't have been a 7 seed.
No.
Well, who knows that he would have even played?
Oh, he'd play.
That is true.
All you got to do is let him miss 20 games.
Wait, it took him 2 years to get healthy just recently. He finally said, I'm healthy.
He ain't fully healthy yet. He still missed 20 games.
Oh, really?
But them other 62 that he played.
Well, I'm here to tell Chris Broussard the Bucks are done. They're done.
You're going full Paul Pierce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Done.
They're just done.
So they're going to get swept?
They're not. They won't get swept. I expect them to win
5.
2, but they're not going to win 3 or 4.
So you get them, was it 5?
I just think the Celtics have, it's just some mindset. It's just we're the Celtics and you're not.
I got another case of do they don't lose in 5.
I think the Bucks stop here.
I got a case of do they don't lose in 5.
Well, to your point,
5?
I mean, Tatum struggled. So they can even look at that and say, we didn't even get a good game out of Tatum.
Interesting.
You know?
I'll take Boston right now for a case, just straight up for a case. You do it?
Oh, they got a 1-game lead. You going to talk about, you take it for a case? No.
Well, you love Milwaukee.
I take Toronto right now for a case.
Oh, wow, that's going way out on a limb.
Oh, but you want to take Boston.
Y'all both like Philly, right?
Well, Joel Embiid
They
can't.
done?
He
With
shouldn't
Joel paying 12 minutes a night, he can't move.
Well, remember,
I know for a
Horford-
fact he should not even be playing. Joel Embiid should not be playing right now. So they got no shot without him.
No.
And this is what remember Horford did a great job on Embiid last year in the playoffs. That guy's a great defender.
He is.
Smart.
But
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
That's my new fave.
We got
Oh,
a
is he?
different game to talk about.
Really?
Did you say new favorite?
Really?
New fave. He in my five.
Past,
He's just saying.
you
that's
said new
about you.
fave,
Yep.
number 1.
No. He
Okay.
my
I'm
five.
just asking.
You know, T-Mobile got that thing. You know, you
He's
got
in
5.
your new
Yeah.
fave. Okay.
Oh,
I thought
you think he's going in front of LeBron?
I was just clarifying.
No,
in
you
your
you
five.
were,
I was
you were
just
right.
right. He
You're right.
said new
He's
fave.
jumped completely off that bandwagon. He is.
Okay.
Out of sight, out of
Bron
mind.
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, that is true. He's going nowhere.
Bron, oh, you got jokes, huh?
Okay, Chris, you're going to stick around for this next one. Did the refs cost the Rockets a win yesterday? We'll discuss everything there next.
No mercy.
Let's get right to the closing seconds of Rockets Warriors yesterday. James Harden had a chance to tie it with a 3 missed as Draymond Green contested the shot. Then Chris Paul went after one of the officials and was ejected. The Rockets were livid that no foul was called on the Harden shot, saying he wasn't able to land safely, which was a theme of the entire game. The Warriors got the win, and afterwards Harden had a message for the refs. Take a listen.
I just want a fair chance, man. Call the game how it's supposed to be called, and that's it. And I'll live with the results. But especially we all know what happened, a few years back with Kawhi, like that can change an entire series. Just call the game how it's supposed to be called, and we'll live with the results. And it's plain and simple.
James Harden after the game said he just wants a fair chance that the refs need to call the game the way it's supposed to be called. he just wants a fair chance. The refs need to call the game the way it's supposed to be called. He's specifically talking about closing out on three-pointers, feeling like he got fouled several times in those situations.
I've been fouled by James on a James three-pointer before. I ain't trying to hear that. Nah, I ain't going with that one. I'm straight.
Okay, we're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Oh, he always makes me laugh. Chris, did the non-calls cost Houston the game?
I am with Dre.
You are?
I'm with Draymond. Look, the key word you just said was cost. Did it cost them the game? No. Now, that said, in the first half in particular, I thought there were some calls. Clearly, I mean, Klay Thompson really was the biggest culprit of getting in their landing spot. Sure. So I thought some of those were missed. But you guys know, it's not as simple as, they would have got, those are 4 calls, they would have got 12 free throws, they would have won the game. Everything changes. If they go to the line those extra times, Golden State responds differently, Houston responds differently. So that early in the game, I'm not buying that just automatically means Golden State or Houston would have won the game.
Okay.
To the last call, I definitely don't think that was a foul.
Right.
Because Harden, first of all, he jumped forward when he shot, and then he kicked his legs out to draw contact. If a guy can't get that close to you where when you kick your legs out there's contact, then you can't contest the jump shot anymore. I mean, Harden, that's not a natural shooting motion when you kick your legs out like that. And so, to me, that was a good call. I think that Houston got called up because, there are reports that they did their homework. They're the analytical kings in the league, and they looked at all the fouls, last year in the playoff series with Golden State and how they get away with, how they challenge you in your landing spot and so on and so forth. And I think that Houston was out to draw fouls on their threes more so than thinking about making it. James Harden was 4 for 16. Now, he's had bad nights like that here and there, but I think he was so concerned with drawing the contact and the fouls that it took a little bit of his focus off just making the shot. So, again, first half, there were definitely some landing spot violations, if you will. Last call, no way. And I thought Houston had plenty of opportunities. If I got to look at what cost them the game, I think they have to look in the mirror. First of all, you're facing a team where the starting backcourt, both of them have bad ankles. Okay, so you didn't exploit that. Steph Curry gets 5 fouls. You didn't exploit that. They went to the line 29 times, the Rockets. For all the complaints about non-calls, they went to the line 29 times. They averaged 24 free throw attempts in the regular season. So you got more foul shots than you normally get. Harden got 14 free throw attempts. Again, for all the complaints, he averaged the last 2 playoff seasons, postseasons, he's averaged 8 free throw attempts a game. So you didn't even average 14 in the regular season. You averaged 11. So I don't want to hear the complaints about, PJ Tucker, no points. Clint Capella, 4 points. Yeah. They did not capitalize on other ways. Golden State turned it over 20 times. So again, a few calls, they were missed. But what cost them the game is their failure to capitalize on certain things rather than the officiating.
You're going to let me go?
Yeah, let you go.
Because I'm going off.
Go ahead.
I cannot tell you how much I disagree with every word that just came out of your mouth.
Oh.
The refs robbed the Rockets of Game 1 and very possibly robbed the Rockets of this entire series because this is the one, as you did point out, on a silver platter to go win. You had 2 more days to rest and get ready. You went out early to the Bay Area so that you could practice at Oracle and get acclimated to the time change. For all the reasons you just said, two backcourt players with bad ankles, and they did not shoot very well yesterday. No. They were 5 for 15 were Steph and Klay yesterday from 3. So they didn't ignite Oracle. And then the home team turned it over yesterday 20 times, led by Kevin Durant with 6 turnovers. It's just like they're begging you to beat them. And the strategy, the new game plan to me was you jump into James, but as you jump, you turn your back to him. They were all jumping and turning their back away from him so they wouldn't hand foul him, but they would body foul him. And they were definitely jumping into his landing spot, his airspace when he came down, including the last one. And I will give you that James, what do they call it, jackknife. That's what
right.
But Draymond is jumping right into his landing space, and he's jumping sideways. And so Joe Borgia, the director of officials and replay, said, well, that was a good non-call on the last one, which was the most crucial one. But I would have called that one because I promise you I saw that called all year long. It's a dangerous play by Draymond to jump into the landing zone, the landing target of James Harden. And I saw 6 total calls that went uncalled on 3-point shots. D'Antoni estimated they should have shot 20 more free throws. Well, what if he's right about that? And you can say, well, game would have changed. Hey, these guys can really make their free throws. So what if they'd made 18 more free throws? Do you really think it would have, that Golden State could have overcome that? I don't think they could have. And plus, they were allowed to get so physical with James Harden, they literally knocked him out of his comfort zone. And we know you can do that if you're allowed to. But if the refs had reffed the way James Harden was reffed every game of all 82 regular season games, they win this game. And it was crucial for them to win it. Daryl Morey has to be devastated by this because if you're going to dethrone the champs, you have to go punch them right in the mouth in a building in which they have not played well this year. They lost 2 games to the Clippers at home. They lost 6 games at home by 20-plus points. For whatever reason, they don't feel real comfortable at home if you get off hot against them and show them from the jump that we are here to win this game. And you can't do it if you don't call the calls against James. You have to have a parade to the free throw line for him to set the early tone, right?
Yeah.
That's how they win games.
And that's my thing. I'm agreeing with you, Skip. I agree less with you, Chris, is that did James play any different yesterday than he had played all year? And he got those calls. You and I, we talking about it, how James, they look at James on a 3-point shot and they give him the foul call. Now they're running into him with his body. We saw that in the NCAA tournament. Remember the guy in the corner from Virginia? Right. The guy hip checked him. They called it. All I'm saying, if you're going to ref the game, James wants to be officiated, good, bad, or indifferent, like you officiated him in the regular season. And he can live with that.
Yep.
But when you get into his airspace or you hip check him or you body check him and you don't call it, he's going to have a problem with it. Now, look, it seems to me that the Rockets' emphasis is that they're going to keep Steph Curry in the pick and roll. They don't, no. Draymond, no, I don't want Capella to come. Whomever he's guarding, we want Steph in the pick and roll. You got Gordon, come here. Whomever it is, that's who they're going to, Chris Paul, so that's how they're playing that, Skip, because this lateral, I believe he is hampered a little bit with that ankle injury. And maybe that's going to have an effect on shooting the 3-point shot. But I just believe, and I agree with you, and I do agree with you on this, Clint Capella and P.J. Tucker can't give you 4 points and 6 rebounds. That's not good enough.
Listen, something's up with Clint Capella because they said last week he had 2 viruses, which I'd never heard of before. He was completely out of it yesterday. In stretches during the regular season, he was a dominating post player with the pick and roll with James.
No
and
question.
he will battle people. He will dunk on people. He just looked lost. He couldn't catch the ball. He couldn't hold it off rebounds. And he didn't play all that much because the Warriors just went small right from the start. They went with Iggy. They said, we got our death lineup out here. Match us. Because Bogut barely played yesterday.
Yeah. Now, look, won't you guys admit, the game is always officiated differently in the regular season and the playoffs. That's one theory on why Harden has had some struggles.
But that's like changing the rules.
Right.
I mean, but will you admit? I mean, this is not new. This is historic. This is not peculiar to James Harden. Stuff you get in the regular season, physicality increases. So that's kind of all I'm saying. And he still got to the line 14 times.
Yeah,
okay, but what's the greatest irony of all this? Why was this rule instituted in the first place? Because of Zaza Pachulia. In Game 1, Western Conference Finals 2 years back, and he put his size 32 shoe or whatever underneath number 2 up in Toronto now, and you know the rest of the story. It took San Antonio right out. They were up 23 points when that happened in Game 1 at Oracle. So the rule is instituted just because of a Golden State play to stop Golden State from doing that. And then Golden State gets away 6 times with non-calls yesterday. Really?
It was smart of Kawhi to equate it to, for James to bring up Kawhi. It was definitely smart because I just think that the officials are going to have to think about that. And we've seen Phil Jackson, Pat Riley guys in the past play games like this. Yeah, playing a seed. This 2-minute report is going to be interesting. I haven't looked forward to a 2-minute report like this.
Okay, but Joe
in a
Borgia
while.
already said that they got it right on the last call. So that's what it's going to say.
They've been really and I don't think it's fair. I've talked to some officials. I don't think it's fair to the officials.
No.
They hate it. Because what are you going to do? At the end of the day, it's just making them look incompetent and nothing changes.
Because the guy's going to come out there and say, see, I knew you blew that call.
Right.
That's what I'm already mad. But if you look at James and the James Harden, all of his threes are going to be contested because he's not getting them off the feed. He's doing the dribble between the legs. I'm a dart. I come back, step.
I don't even know how he gets them off. He got one off against Durant yesterday. I said, how do you do that? How do you even create
And
enough
he's been
space?
fouled 95 times on 3-point shots. Yeah. That's 61 clear of the next closest.
All right.
So he put the seat out there, watch him. He get like 24, he's going to shoot the ball.
He's a master at drawing fouls.
Okay.
Like I said, he kicked his feet out, jackknife.
In the postseason, has James Harden always been the mentally toughest guy?
No.
Nope, he is not. We've seen him go south. But Golden State's game plan yesterday was we got to knock him around. We got to get in his head with physicality so that he starts thinking twice before he shoots. Am I going to get hit? Am I going to get jostled?
Yeah.
Am I going to get hip checked?
Well, Golden State game plan is like, we're going to get the ball to Kevin Durant. And the rest of you guys, y'all find y'all shot when you comes available.
I've been trying to tell you.
But
He's
we gonna
the best.
get that
He's
guy.
the best.
Hey, we gonna get that guy. We gonna get that guy the ball.
Yeah.
And if y'all get y'all shots, okay, so be it. But if you don't,
He's looking like the best. And to your point, if him and Kyrie go to New York and he starts winning in New York, damn, we got serious conversations.
You know what? He could do it. Those two right now are playing at supremely high levels.
but yeah, I know another guy playing at a supremely high level. And you pair him 0-2, you put 2 and 2, 3 together.
Really?
We like that.
Huh.
I just want, you know what? I'm kind of hoping Toronto and Boston wins. Because, see, I want that fourth quarter to come along, and you know who's going to cover Kyrie in the fourth quarter, don't you? That 6'9" guy with that almost 8-foot wingspan.
Oh. Shannon,
Kawhi.
He's all been in a wheelchair now.
Who? Kawhi?
No, you're
No, I'm talking about Kawhi. No.
But they'll put Kyrie on him. I mean, Lowry on him, too.
No. Not in the fourth quarter.
No.
In some of the fourth. Late, like
So,
last possession, they might go.
So you like Lowry?
We got to discuss this. CP3 did hip check the referee at the end of the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Do I think he's going to get suspended?
No.
Not CP3.
No.
I just don't think so. But
In
he
this
did,
game?
Because he's
he
a
did-
Players
I
Association
know, that's what,
president?
yes. And
Man,
he's
you can't
highly
sus-
respected.
I would hate to see it, too.
So would I.
Sometimes the league has to do the spirit of the law
Yep.
rather than the letter of the law.
Right.
We've seen it in the
That's
past.
that's well said.
But in
I
the
would
past,
agree.
they have gone by the letter. I mean, we can go all the way back to the Knicks. Just terrible stuff. So I hope.
Phoenix.
I hope they.
Phoenix, San
Phoenix,
Antonio.
all of that. You're-
With Robert Horry. It cost them a championship, Skip. You know that, too.
Doc didn't.
Yeah, it did. Robert Horry hip checked Steve Nash into the bench.
And very well, you might be
Amari
right.
took 2 steps.
Right.
Okay, that's letter of the law.
Yeah.
I don't want them to go by the
And
letter.
yet Chris can be hot-headed, and he was furious because he'd stolen the ball from Kevin Durant, and then he felt like he got hip-checked again by Clay,
Did
so
you
ran
think he
over
did?
Clay.
I didn't think Clay fouled him.
Well, I don't know. It's just
That'll
like,
be
it was
interesting
like
to see.
chaos on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't think
But
Chris should have went crazy.
He
Like
got mad, and he bumped the referee. Did he hurt the referee? Did he try to punch the referee? He did
you
not.
think he did it purposely?
Just can't help
If he
himself.
did it purposely, then he
I just don't.
How else you hip check somebody that don't do it
just
purposely?
accidentally momentum carries.
Yeah. No, his momentum had him walking in that direction.
Gosh, I'd hate to see that. This
would
is
I.
such a great series. They
You know,
just-
as we speak, they're probably going back and forth.
They give him a fine. They give him
Adam
a fine.
Silver's different though. He's not David
know,
Stern.
I know.
So I
You're
do
right.
think
You're
I think he'll go more.
That's why we like.
spirit
That's
than
why
letter.
we like Commissioner Silver.
Yeah.
We like him. He's a good man.
He
good
is
man.
a good man.
Yeah.
And he's always for the good of the game.
Right,
You know, like,
right.
He got something cooking up there in New York in them pots.
Does he?
Yeah.
What?
Sending a dish out this way. Hurry. He sent an old nice dish out to L.A.
Think, huh?
Send that dish? What are you talking
He cooking.
about?
Don't worry about it. You'll see.
I know.
July 1st and 2nd, you'll see the dish that
What
we
am I
got.
missing?
Oh, you mean he's sending that? I thought you meant he's sending you a satellite
No.
for your house.
No, he cooking up. He cooking up something.
Gumbo.
Yeah, he cooking up something on Park Avenue.
Is it?
All right.
Well, that thing will be ready.
Oh, so it's gonna
Yeah,
be-
that thing's slow cooking right now.
It's going to be his call. I see.
No, there ain't gonna be nobody called Skip. See, there you go. You always with these
He's
conspiracy.
dreaming. You
You
dreaming.
always with
Wishful
these
thinking.
conspiracy
Well,
theories.
you just said a conspiracy
Wishful
theory.
thinking. you put it out, you feel like it might happen.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
can't blame you. I can't blame you. Chris, thank you for joining us. As always, will Josh Rosen resurrect his career in Miami? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Is now a Dolphin. Miami traded a second-round pick to Arizona over the weekend for the former first-rounder. The writing was on the wall after the Cardinals picked Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick. Rosen finished 3-10 as a starter in his rookie season, and Dolphins head coach Brian Flores said Rosen will have to compete for any role he has in Miami. Shannon, was this a good move by the Dolphins?
I liked it. They need a quarterback, and they got one at a very good value. The guy was a top 10 pick last year, and you get him for a late second-round draft pick, Skip. They were able to trade and get back into the second round. So basically, they got him for nothing. I like this, and I like Brian Flores said, look, bro, you're not coming out here. You're not going to be given a job. You're going to compete like everybody else is going to compete for a roster spot, and if you deserve it, you'll earn it, you'll be the starter. And, Skip, they only have to pay him $6 million over the next 3 years. This is very, very low risk. Had Josh Rosen came out this year, Skip, he definitely would have been a first-round pick, and he probably would have been the second quarterback off the board behind Kyler Murray. So I love this. I love it. I love it. The Dolphins, this is a very low-risk, high reward for them. If he's what they believe he can be. He's been in the league for a year. Skip, it's hard to really say, well, he was terrible. I think I saw a stat where of the 396 quarterbacks that's been evaluated via QBR, he's 392. So in the history since the QBR has been a stat skill. I don't know if that's very good.
392 out of
392 out of 396. A lot of that had to do with the offensive line, Skip. He got beat up. He didn't have a whole lot to work with. So now he's in a situation. I like it. I like what the Dolphins were able to do. Yes.
I don't like it.
You don't like him.
Allow me to say,
Explain.
my mama didn't teach me much, God rest her soul, but she did teach me 2 things that I took to heart. Number 1, your health is the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
And number 2, you get what you pay for.
Right.
They paid a late second-round pick for Josh Rosen, whom the Cardinals traded up to take at the top of the draft.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
A late second round. There's also a 2020 fifth rounder. I'm not even going to count that. And with that pick, the Arizona Cardinals took one Andy Isabella, a little speedster out of UMass.
Yeah, he ran like 4.3.
Yeah. So you got, he did run 4.3. He's a little smurf, 5'9", 183.
Yeah.
But
Julian Edelman size.
Julian Edelman's huge.
No, he about ready.
No, Julian Edelman weighs like 205.
You know, that was before he went on vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Got it.
But the point is, you just got traded for Andy Isabella, right? I mean, okay. So if you do get what you pay for, you're not getting that much. So again, I just never loved what he's made of, Josh Rosen. I watched him a lot at UCLA. You were around him a good bit. I respect the talent. There's just something about football intangibles, being able to play the position at a high level at the right times. I never quite saw that from him.
Well, maybe he has a different mindset, Skip, because he grew up playing tennis.
I know.
A tennis player has a different mindset than, say, a football player, let alone a quarterback. So maybe it's going to take a little while to get that up out of him. But considering he was the top 10 pick and I give up a late second-round pick for him, that's pretty good.
It's a low-risk shot to take. I give you that much.
Sure.
And yet, I'm here to say that Ryan Fitzpatrick has played through stretches at a higher level than Josh Rosen will ever be able to reach.
Oh, I totally agree. Oh, yeah.
Listen, when Ryan Fitzpatrick is right, he is really, really right. But you've pointed out to me early in our existence here on Fox that like he goes every other year where he has
Inconsistent.
And last year he had a wild burst
and
early,
then you start expecting things of him because he burst onto the scene. Nobody expected anything because Jameis was suspended. You know, he had those 400. Nobody had opened the season 400 back-to-back.
Well, he beat Drew Brees in New Orleans on opening day.
Yes.
Wow.
Hung 48 on him.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, man, can the Bucs win this division? And then he turned back into Ryan Fitzpatrick. But he's got a good guy to learn from behind, Skip. I just like this pick because they didn't give up a whole lot, and that's maximum value. It's almost like You know, they say cars are a depreciating asset. That's like you spend $500,000 for a car, and then somebody comes along with you a year later and they buy it for $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna take. I think he can be okay, Skip. Is he gonna be worse? He won't be worse than Tannehill.
That is a fact. I will give you that. So did Steve Keim not just dodge a bullet because he was the one who traded up to take Josh Rosen?
Right.
And he's getting off that hook right now because he hired Cliff Kingsbury, who went 35-40 as the head coach at Texas Tech, and they fell into the first pick and they took Kyler Murray.
Oh, he ain't off the hook yet, Skip. They still throwing them knives, but we're gonna see.
All right.
He at the carnival. We're gonna see, because right now we're not gonna look at the Rosen because they got Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray,
that's true. Okay.
But Kyler Murray better be Elway.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be Elway because very few are Elway, but he's going to be up there.
Well, he got to be. Of the quarterbacks that were taken number 1 overall, he needs to be in the top 10. How about that?
I bet he will light it up next year. I bet he'll be Rookie of the Year next year. Will that be enough for you?
No.
Nope. And by the way, they did get him some weapons yesterday because we talked last week about Andy Isabella. He must be a deep threat weapon. I don't know.
No, he's going to put him in the slot, Skip.
Think so?
With that kind of speed, he's a small guy.
The one guy I do know that they took with the first pick of the 4th round is Akeem Butler from Iowa State because I watched him a lot. Do you know him?
Just a little bit.
Big monster, 6'5", 6'6". Just listen, he drops some balls, but when he gets open and gets his hands on it and snatches it, he is impossible to stop.
Where you from? Iowa State?
Iowa State, yep. Watch him rise and shine next year.
You had some criticism about him because I think they tweeted at me or something. Iowa State.
Tweeted at you?
Yeah.
Why are they mad at
They
you?
said something about Arizona took some guy from Iowa State, and it's like Shannon Sharpe, even Skip can't even be upset at this one or something.
Well, I immediately tweeted that it was a great pick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Kyler Murray's going to do stuff.
Well, they said
with
something.
Akeem
They
Butler.
tagged me
Just
and you.
watch.
They tagged me and you in some pic, tweet they sent out.
Huh.
I don't know the kid, but I wish him well.
I don't know. You got to quit reading that stuff.
Nah, but they talk about you because they be. I was like, look, leave me alone, because you said something about Kevin Durant again prove he's the best player. Leave that alone, Skip.
Well, now you're stalking me on
No,
Twitter.
people they forwarded it to me. I say, Skip.
Well,
Skip
hasn't he proven it once and for all?
No.
Come on.
No.
Seriously, you still.
I thought you said you like it with the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
You got to give up the ghost of LeBron James because it's a ghost now.
He been back. Oh, I'm telling you, Skip, he in the lab.
Yeah, it's over.
Oh,
It's
he in the
over.
lab. And you know what happened when he came out that lab?
Yep. Kyler Murray's going to make you eat a bunch of words next year.
The Jekyll.
I hope so,
What?
too. I'm with you.
He come out there when he come out. When Mr. Hyde come out, Skip.
Who?
Wait.
Mr. Hyde O'Brien when he come out of that
So
lab.
you're still talking about Braun. That's all you got.
Yeah, I'm like, we're not talking about LeBron.
We're talking
Well, I
about
won't-
somebody who
Wait
matters.
in.
I want
Kyler Murray matters.
I hope because all the little people hopes depends on him. Because if he bombs, there's never going to be a 5'9" quarterback taken in the first round again, Skip.
I'm sure somebody will.
No.
He will not bomb. He'll throw bombs, but
No,
he won't
no.
bomb.
I mean,
Yep.
Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, they done made it in for the little guy.
Kyler Murray will cure all that ails Arizona and save Steve Keim's job, and for that matter, keep Cliff Kingsbury afloat.
Drew Brees and Russell Wilson did for the small quarterback what Wesley Snipes and Michael Jordan did for the dark-skinned brother. Made it in fashion, made it vogue.
Really?
Yeah.
Made it Vogue?
Made it vogue, yeah. Before them,
Snipes. I hadn't thought about
yeah, they made it cool.
I didn't realize that.
That's why I made a comeback. Jenny.
I did not
Yeah.
realize that.
Back in the 80s, I wasn't a hit. But then Jordan came along, and then in the 90s, Wesley Snipes, been on top of the charts ever since.
And there you have it. Okay, we got to talk about a different quarterback. Have the Broncos found their QB of the future? We'll discuss that with Mark Schilleris next.
No mercy.
John Elway and the Broncos used one of of their second-round picks to grab former Missouri quarterback Drew Lock. Denver traded for Joe Flacco this offseason, and Elway was quick to say Flacco is the starter, adding, quote, "We look at it as a Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers type of situation." We've heard that before. The Broncos have not been able to find the answer at quarterback since Peyton Manning in 2015. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst and former Bronco Mark Schlereth. Mark, good to have you with us.
It's great to be here.
Well, Drew Lock, is he going to be the answer for Elway?
No, I mean, I think he provides an answer for Elway. I mean, it was J.C. Penney who once said, the best teacher is the job itself. This kid has started for 4 years at Missouri, and you have no pressure to put him in right away. You can let him learn under Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has a 1-year deal, essentially, a 1-year guaranteed deal on a 3-year deal that's left. So you can let him develop at his pace. And I will tell you this, back in our day when we first came in the league, that's the way it was. You drafted a guy, you developed a guy over time. We've seen that formula work as recently as in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. And I'm telling you, talking to Matt Nagy about that, he said you can't underestimate the value that Alex Smith had on the development of Patrick Mahomes. Not only, you know, answering questions, all that, but just watching the way a professional prepares.
Sure.
Because just because you play a pro sport doesn't make you a professional. So you've created a situation for yourself where you've got the heir apparent and you don't have to play him right away. You can let that guy develop. And I think that's the perfect situation. If Joe Flacco plays great for the next 3 years,
He won't.
but if he does, who cares? Like, you're still in a good spot.
You know what, Skip? This drives me crazy. I want people to stop using this analogy. Brett Favre was a 3-time league MVP. And from 1995 till about 1998, he was universally regarded as the best quarterback in football. Joe Flacco has never been regarded as even a top 10 quarterback in football. He's never gone to a Pro Bowl. He's never been an All-Pro. He's never led the league in passing yards or passing touchdowns.
You just took another shot at John Elway.
No, I don't use that. And so now you're telling me Drew Lock gonna be Aaron Rodgers.
That's what he's saying.
That's what you're telling me. So
or Patrick Mahomes.
But here's the thing though, Skip. So I guess the Montana Steve Young, that was a bridge too far to cross. That we couldn't say this is gonna be a Montana Young, because that's just been too far. But old Favre and Young, I mean Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Look, they got the kid at great value. On a lot of draft boards, he was number 2 behind Kyler Murray. But can we just say, you know what? We got a quarterback. We traded for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, we would like for Joe to play well and play as long as he can so we can bring this guy along. There's a chance, I know they want to sit the guy for a year, but knowing Joe and how Joe is possibly known to stink it up, the kid's probably going to have to play at some point this year, Stick. I'm sorry. I know you really want Joe to play well.
Yeah, but you have to understand, too, Joe Flacco, his best year, and you're right, he's never been an elite quarterback.
Yes.
Except in the postseason.
But he has, well, he was at one postseason where he threw 11 touchdowns versus no interceptions and won a Super Bowl. He was great in that postseason. But the one year that was his best year was under Gary Kubiak, when Gary Kubiak went to be the offensive coordinator in Baltimore.
Right.
And that was his best year, 2014.
Okay.
They've got that same offense from Scangarello, who came in as the offensive coordinator to operate that offense. So there's going to be a lot of similarities in there. Now, I will tell you this. If you don't fix the issues that you've had on the offensive line.
What you going to do about your left tackle? How about that one?
If you don't fix the issues with you, listen, that has to be fixed.
Okay.
And that guy has to be, and you're right, Garrett Bowles is, I mean, that dude is a mutton buster. I mean, he made more tackles last year than anybody on defense. So.
But he plays offense.
Right,
so
yeah, But you got to fix that. There's no question you have to fix that. But you don't want to you don't want to bring the rookie in there and say, hey, and change that. You got to fix that.
So allow me to say that Drew is no lock to be the answer for John Elway. I watched him a lot at Missouri, and you're right. He started for parts of 4 years. Whew.
I like that about it.
I saw him a lot. I just watched TV, and here's the irony of this. I actually saw Joe Flacco Jr., tall, huge arm, but inconsistent accuracy and questionable poise under fire, questionable command of the position. Because Flacco, when he gets rolling and when he had Ray Lewis's defense to back him up, whew, he put up some numbers in those postseasons. But every regular season, I called him Joe Fluco because they gave him the sun and the moon. They gave him the biggest quarterback contract ever, and then they re-upped it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what did they miss the playoffs, like 6 straight years? It's just, he can't live up in the regular season, ironically, to those postseason runs. So we look at John Elway, and I'm going to say this again. The rule of thumb for me is the greater the player was, the harder time he's going to have at picking players, especially those who play his position. Because he was just too good. He was too gifted. He can't really see what works at the position he dominated, the way very few mortals have ever dominated it. So I look at his draft picks, Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and then he brought in Case Keenum. I like Case Keenum, but obviously he's just a short-term fix.
You missed Zach Dysert.
I didn't.
Drafted him, too.
He did.
Didn't need to bring him up.
I hated to even pile on with that one. But again, can you get something out of Fluco this year? You think not much. You're probably right.
I think to your point, and you make a great point, I think that when you play a position and you're dominant at that position, you think about what Shannon and I studied on film forever. I studied defensive players.
Right.
And that's what I played against. You're studying coverages. You're studying guys that are covering you.
Defensive end, safety to quarterback.
Right. Didn't study
That's
quarterbacks.
what. That's what you're. So as an offensive player, I have a great understanding of what makes a guy tough to block. You know.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes, especially when you're a great player like that, to your point, you're so busy. 17 years, you focused on safeties and cover guys, and you look at the difference. The draft on the defense: Bradley Chubb, Vaughn Miller, Chris Harris Jr. Well, he wasn't drafted; he was an unrestricted free agent, but college free agent.
Done very well.
But
Yeah,
they've
I
done
agree.
really well on that side of the
They have.
ball, and the offensive side of the ball, not so much.
Look, what Ozzie? Ozzie played offense. What does he do? Very good.
Yeah.
T.
But
Sizzle.
he's an
Ed
exception
Reed,
to this rule
Ray
because
Lew-
Ozzie had a great.
But
eye.
what is he picking? Defensive players,
Yeah.
because that's what he studied.
That is interesting.
So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very.
So what happened to John Elway? He took over the first year and he inherited Tim Tebow, and it worked for 1 year, and we don't need to get into that, but it did work, and they won the division, won a playoff game.
It
And
worked
what
for 8
happened-
games.
What's that?
It worked for 8 games. Stop saying it worked for the whole
They
year.
won
Worked
the
for-
division. They were 1-4.
8 games, Skip.
1-4.
They lost their last 3 of the last 4.
Historic. No one's ever done that before.
You know what
No
he
one's
took-
ever done that. But whatever. Then what happened that offseason? Peyton Manning knocks on John's door. Can I play?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll take you. I know you because I know great quarterbacks, and you're really great.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty proven great at that point. So that put John and the team on the map, right? And as far as actually having to draft, I don't know. The one good thing I'll give you is John didn't overreact and panic and take Drew Lock at what, 10?
Yeah, at 10. Yeah. I mean, he didn't pull a Dave Gettleman
That
with
was
the
a Dave
Giants, right?
Gettleman. That would've been-
but I will say this. You look at this draft in general, and I think the last 2 drafts for John have been obviously much better. But you look at, I think it's 2013 to 2017. I think they have 5 guys on their roster from those drafts. Wow. I believe it's something like 5 guys. You should have 15 or 20 guys. You should have 10, 12 starters. And so they have made a philosophical change in the way they draft. And last year it paid dividends. I think it'll pay dividends again this year. Maybe not year 1 for Drew Lock, but I think eventually.
I just want the comparison to stop. Stop saying we're going to have a
That-
Favre and Rodgers.
That's a real fair.
So I know you guys
I didn't
both
think about
love-
it that way, but that's really fair.
You guys love John Elway and honor John
Yeah,
Elway,
sure.
and he's obviously legendary in Denver, Colorado. I hate to see a man put himself on the firing line where he becomes not so great in the eyes of Bronco Nation because he can't pull this off. Because, listen, that division is not getting any easier because you see what's happening in Kansas City, you know what's happening with the Chargers, and the Raiders just got, I think, a whole lot better with that draft. They will get better. They will be a factor in this division, and all of a sudden, it seems like the Broncos aren't really doing dramatic improvements, right?
Well, you better have a quarterback.
You better.
Because if you look at everybody else in that, especially the top 2 you just mentioned, the Chargers and Chiefs.
Yeah.
One team's going to have a guy for the next 15 years.
They will.
And another guy look like he's not going anywhere for the next 3 to 4 years.
It does not. And listen, Derek Carr is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, Derek Carr put a season together a couple of years ago.
did.
It was MVP caliber until he broke his leg. So, and I know this. You can scrap pile what you saw last year because they had a bunch of number 4 receivers starting for them last year. They had one tight end that can get something done. Like, you look at them, they stripped it down to the studs in Oakland, and they're starting to rebuild it right now under John Gruden. So they basically just scrap piled their whole team and said, we're not doing anything. We're planning for the Vegas. The Vegas tour.
They didn't start over at quarterback, and it gives them a little bit of an edge.
Right.
Okay. Well, good luck
Yeah, good
to
luck.
Mr. Elway.
Yeah, because I'm tired of, I like talking about my team in a positive way. Like winning playoffs.
You got orange, and you got kind of.
We're going to switch. I'm going to give him my tie. We're going to switch ties.
What's a positive story?
Yeah, we're a positive story.
But you still want your sideline pass and your parking pass, right?
Yeah. Well, Mr. B told me that's good. That's
so you're going over.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
He's
you
got,
get.
right?
He's got lifetime. I got to get media credential to get
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm good.
You're not worried? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mark,
Wait a second.
Me not so much.
Wait a second. You were better at your position than he was at his position, right?
But it's, my name's up there.
Yeah, he got his name. He
You're
got
getting
his
in the
name
building.
in like.
I think both you guys are safe. So either way, Mark, good stuff.
Thank you.
We're going to
Thank you.
stay talking
Yeah, Mark's
about the
media.
draft here. Did Skip's Cowboys actually make some big mistakes in the draft? Let's see what he has to say next.
No mercy.
So the Cowboys did not have a first-round pick because of that little trade that Skip remembers for Amari Cooper. So with their first pick in the second round, they picked Central Florida defensive tackle Tristan Hill.
What?
Who had questions about his work ethic in college. Dallas also added 2 running backs and 2 defensive backs. So Skip, are you surprised by the picks?
I can't tell you how many times Friday, Saturday, I said, who? What? Huh?
What?
Do you remember what I said 1 year ago after they picked somebody named Leighton Vander Who in the first round? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I said, what are you doing? I was out of my mind because there were bigger name values left on the board.
Right.
And I told you I watched Boise State one time the year before, and it was against Josh Allen's Wyoming because I was watching Josh Allen. Leighton Vander Esch never caught my eye, never jumped off my TV screen, and boy, did he last year as a rookie linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. So I reminded myself once again, Friday night and Saturday, in Will McClay, I should trust. And I'm going to trust him because if I look at his track record running these drafts for Jerry Jones, I used to think Jerry had final say. I don't think he has any final say anymore. I will bet you Tristan Hill will be a keeper. I will bet you that even though he fell out with the new coaching staff at Central Florida, I read a lot of things that I don't know anything about him, but that he has monster ability to control the defensive line in the middle of it as an anchor to the Cowboy defense.
New David Irving, huh?
Well, David Irving was like 6'8". I don't think this is, but he does weigh 308, Tristan Hill.
Right.
And I can go pick by pick. Some of them I liked, like Tony Pollard. I watched a lot at Memphis, and every time I turned on the TV, Tony Pollard leaped off my screen. But they list him as a running back. All I saw him do was catch the ball and return kicks, and he is pretty special. So I like that. But they took another Connor at guard in the third round. This one's Connor McGovern. It's Connor Williams last year. I didn't like Connor Williams. But then at the end of the year, he wound up starting. And I guess he held his own because I never heard his name called, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So if I start going down the picks that Will McClay has made over the last few years, 2014, Zach Martin, DeMarcus Lawrence, Anthony Hitchens. Will that work? Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
2015, Byron Jones, can he play? Yeah, he can play. How about 2016? Zeke, Jalen Smith, Dak Prescott, Anthony Brown. Will that work? Yep. How about Awuzie, Jordan Lewis, and Xavier Woods? I'll take them. I'm okay. Then Leighton and Connor Williams, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz. I'll take that. So it's just hit. And then I read Mike Freeman and Bleacher Report saying that all the executives, or many of them that he talked to in Nashville, said they had a very good draft and that they expect Dallas, New Orleans to be in the NFC Championship game this year. I don't know. In Will McClay, I trust. So I don't know enough about Tristan Hill, but I got a good feeling about Will McClay. Thank you.
First of all,
You're welcome.
Amari Cooper was the draft. That was their first round pick.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yes, he was.
Okay, well, that's a great pick. I'll take him.
So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter what you do after that, Skip.
This is all cement. This is all like mortar.
Yes.
You know, this is all.
You're looking at, okay, they got a DT. I thought they needed some safety help, but clearly they don't think they need.
I'm glad you brought that up. And the reason my jaw dropped on Tristan Hill was they left 2 starters at safety, Taylor Rapp and that Thornhill kid, Juan Thornhill from Virginia. They left them on the board. They went 29th and 31st, but with the 26th pick, they took Tristan Hill.
Yeah.
Well, who am I to doubt Will McClay? Because I thought they went in looking for a starting safety.
Right.
So
I guess they like a Heath and a Loca.
okay, well, maybe. I like Georgia Loca.
Yeah.
And I like Xavier Woods. They're like Heath and Xavier weren't bad last year.
I mean, and then they got 2 guys in the 4th and 5th round. There were 2 5th rounders, Michael Jackson and Joe Jackson. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're in a relationship.
Both you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to look. All you need to do is a couple of fill-in pieces. Skip, they loaded. If they get the center back. Travis Frederick comes back, and he's close to what he was. They don't need a whole lot.
Okay. They did need a backup to Zeke, and in the 7th round they took Mike Weber. You covered Mike Weber. You know what? He'll give you an honest day's work at tailback. He works hard. He plays hard. He runs. He's not the most gifted. He doesn't have Zeke in him, but you don't think he could come in for 4 or 5 plays a game?
And plus, they took the running back out of Memphis, so he might be able to give Zeke a spell.
But he's more, I told you, he's more of a receiver than a running back.
Well, Zeke.
Kick returner.
Okay, look. When y'all going to do something with my contract? I'm Zeke. Y'all need to do something with my contract.
Yeah, that's all you got going. That's the only negative that you can hang on to, because you see this team is just coming and coming and coming. It's getting better and better and better, and you can't stop the train.
You put my feet to the fire and says, okay, you got to pick one. The Cowboys or the Saints in the NFC title game. Really? You want me to take Jason Garrett over Sean Payton? You want me to take Dak Prescott over Drew Brees? Really? You want me to do that?
Yeah, I saw it. Did you see what happened on that Thursday night in Dallas last year? Remember that?
I do.
Who won that game? Help me out.
Yeah.
Who intercepted Drew Brees at the end of the game? How about Jordan Lewis? Another good draft.
Drew Brees had his worst. Drew had his worst statistical game of the entire season.
Huh.
You guys played your best defensive game because the following week you got laid a goose egg. You remember you went to Indy and you got beat 27-0.
Who won the division?
Y'all backed into it.
We backed into it because of what? Because Carson Wentz had an awful year?
Walking to him was hurt.
Oh,
injured.
really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We'll see this year, though.
Huh.
We'll see this year.
We got this.
I want you to have that same energy, that you got now. You're talking about, we got Tristan Hill, Connor McGovern, and Pollard, and Jackson. And
How about Donovan Wilson from Texas A&M? Every time I watched A&M, he popped off my screen because he collides with people. He gets targeting penalties.
He ain't popped too much because A&M ain't do too much. Don't worry about it. You should have got your Alabama kid.
Watch all these kids hit.
You see Alabama?
Yeah.
Again, the most drafted players, the SEC, the most drafted players in the common draft.
Who won the championship game?
Clemson won.
Oh, Clemson beat them. Well, how is that because they're not?
Well, Clemson had like 8 or 9 guys.
Oh, well, is it because Alabama?
Clemson had 3 guys going
Maybe
to
Alabama
All
isn't
right.
coached well enough.
As long as you're feeling good about the Cowboys, Skip, I'm feeling good about moving on. Will number 2 lead the Raptors to another win tonight? We'll discuss number 2 next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. The Raptors can go up 2-0 against the Sixers tonight. Kawhi Leonard went off in Game 1 on Saturday, scoring a career playoff high 45 points. Toronto is favored by 6.5. And Joel Embiid, he is dealing with some kind of sickness, but is probable to play tonight. Shannon, who wins this one?
We suffering from Kawhi-itis. I'm taking the Raps. Skip, Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris are not slouches on the defensive end. And Kawhi made him look second rate. He had it going. I've never seen him play that well offensively. We know what he can represent defensively. But if he gonna play like that, and then his sidekick, Siakam's gonna give you that.
Sidekick made 12 out of 15 shots. Maybe he's not the sidekick.
You know he decided, don't do that, Skip. I don't, whatever you can, I just need you to sit your difference. I just need you to sit your differences aside.
I don't have any differences.
Oh, yeah, you got some
He's just done. He's gone.
I got the Raptors tonight.
So do I, because Joel Embiid has a serious knee issue, and he shouldn't even be playing in this series, and he's forcing it out there. and he needs more help from Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is the guy who could turn the tide for this team, but he's got to make more than 4 shots on 12. You think he's busy doing what?
He's busy trying to guard Kawhi.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
He's busy.
Well, he needs to force somebody to guard him more because you got to take more than 12 shots. You got to score more than 10 points because he can be a playoff difference maker. And again, it still comes down to Joel Embiid, and he scored 16 points and had 8 rebounds. It's not enough.
No.
Because they don't have an answer for him when he's right.
No.
And he's just not right.
But they do have a big enough body to bang on him a little bit, Skip.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.